I had that dream again. My small business needs someone to fulfill orders, but I don't use LinkedIn, and I hire wrong. So our orders get all backed up. We're drowning in paperwork, then actually drowning. Carol is fighting off sharks with a stapler, and pirates are pillaging the office copier, and then I wake up.
Don't let hiring nightmares ruin your dreams. LinkedIn Jobs' new AI assistant goes beyond the resume, using unique insights to deliver a smarter shortlist. Get 50% off your first job post at linkedin.com/Pandora offer. Terms and conditions apply.
The best part of holiday gifting? Giving them something they'll use all year. During December deal drops at Lowe's, save $40 on select Craftsman V20 tools, now just $59. Plus, all rewards members get free standard shipping. Shop new December deal drops every week this month. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 12/10. While supplies last. Free shipping excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Exclusions and more terms apply. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to change. Visit Lowe's.com/shipping terms for details.
On Deck is built to back small businesses like yours. Whether you're buying equipment, expanding your team, or bridging cash flow gaps, On Deck's loans up to $250,000 help make it happen fast. Rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau and earning thousands of 5-star Trustpilot reviews, On Deck delivers funding you can count on. Apply in minutes at OnDeck.com. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by On Deck or Celtic Bank. On Deck does not lend in North Dakota. All loans and amounts subject to lender approval.
You have to control yourself!
And welcome back to Horror Queers. We're talking The Craft for Boys. We're talking analytical psychology spin on a barn party. And we're talking Andrew! And I'm Joe.
And I'm Trace, and we're talking One Very Dead Spider.
Oh man, I forgot about the spider.
That was the one thing I actually did remember from this movie. So, everyone, we are discussing Josh Fantastic Four Trank's
wow.
I know, just right off the bat. Chronicle, the sleeper hit of 2012 that, honestly, Joe, I forgot this was a found footage movie.
Okay, I remembered, if only because the way they kind of get around it felt very fresh and novel to me.
It's awesome.
Yeah. But I then heard a bunch of people be like, it gets old. I was like, it never gets old for me.
This movie is 83 minutes long, and
how does anything get old?
How does anything? I know, right? Like, how does it get old? I thought I remembered liking this. I remembered liking this when it came out. I didn't see it in theaters, but I remember my husband really wanted to watch it, and I heard it was good. It made so much money.
So much money.
Which again, I was like, wow, because I feel like you don't hear people talk about this movie that much nowadays, right?
No, apart from when they briefly announced that there might be a sequel, and then, of course, that went radio silent and no one's ever mentioned it again. But yeah, no, I mean, it feels like this is one of those blockbuster curiosities. If you passed it and you recognized the box art, you'd say, oh, yeah, that one. But we don't have that because we don't do that anymore. So no one talks about this.
Right. Well, so Joe, because this is a you pick, and not to say that I wouldn't have picked this too, because I totally would. But I know you've been wanting to cover this for quite some time. So I don't know. Was there something about it that just really stuck out to you? It's like, I want to cover this.
I think it was the fact that it's a superhero film that's unusual. It's a found footage film that's unusual. It's also, from what I remembered, well done. Because, we've got some Project Almanac. We've got some other ones that kind of use this similar conceit. It's boys finding something, becoming shitty about it, and then their lives going to hell. And that can be done very well. Or that can be done very badly. And I want to say many of the films turn out in the latter camp. But this one, to me, is one of the really good examples.
Yeah, and I think, too, even just thinking about the time this came out, this comes out in February of 2012. And so we are, I want to say, between the third and fourth Paranormal Activity movie. So we are, like, entrenched in so much found footage films that are coming out around this time. And I think, like you said, like, there were just, how many of them do we remember? And
yeah.
I mean, you said Project X, and I was like, what the fuck is that? But yeah, okay, well, you want to just dive into this?
Let's jump into it.
Okay, so I'm going to say I wasn't expecting to find a ton about the production of this movie.
Right.
But thank you, Polygon, because I found an interview with Josh Trank from May of 2020 called The Post-Disaster Artist. And this is obviously after his Fantastic Four film, but it is when it was during the press tour for his Capone movie that was apparently also really bad.
I forgot he was even involved in that.
I didn't know it was a him movie, but I think it's the last big thing he did. And again, like I think it was supposed to be an awards contender, but then it wasn't good. So
if you look at his Wikipedia page, he has done shockingly few films.
I mean, I hate to say this, but it's a term that is normally reserved for female creatives in the Hollywood industry, but he seems difficult.
Yeah, I have definitely heard that. And you mentioned to me offline, oh yeah, I think there might be a reason why he hasn't done more things. And I can't say I was surprised. I don't know. Maybe this is just the energy he's given out into the world, but it does seem like a lot of people just sort of know he's not the easiest guy to work with.
Well, and I'm going to immediately date this episode, but like earlier this week, Miles Teller had a pull quote come out where he said like, oh yeah, Fantastic Four was ruined by one big-headed person. And he didn't name the person, but everyone thinks it's Josh Trank. And if it's not Josh Trank, I apologize. But like that's the rumor mill going around right now.
Okay, so even if it isn't him, his reputation precedes him.
Yeah, pretty much. But you know what? I don't know Josh Trank. I've never worked on a film set with him. This is all hearsay at this point. So,
okay, so tell me more about this film.
Okay, so yeah, Chronicle is the feature directorial debut of Josh Trank. So much has been made about the fallout of that Fantastic Four film that he made, including a tweet he made mere hours before the film opened. And I'm just going to read what this says because it's funny.
Okay.
The night before Fantastic Four opens, he says, "A year ago, I had a fantastic version of this, and it would have received great reviews. You'll probably never see it. That's reality, though." And then it, bombed. So
right, yes.
But either way, so how does one go from kind of like I'm going to say nobody, because he wasn't really involved much in the industry before Chronicle, to a quote-unquote difficult director that is apparently still stuck in director's jail? So
right.
Basically, all the way back when Trank graduated high school, his one goal was to, this is weird, beat Steven Spielberg.
Oh, okay. So we're trying to live the Fableman's dream or something.
Basically. So he made a deal with his parents that if he didn't get his first movie made by the time he was 27, that he would quit. And the reason that he picked 27 is because that's when Steven Spielberg started working on Jaws.
All right, sure. I mean, challenge one of the greats. Go for it.
Now, he spent 2.5 semesters at Brooks Institute of Photography, but dropped out to write scripts while moving from guest room to guest room, picking up work running 35mm dailies to labs. But with no backup plan in sight, he still refused to ask for any sort of help from his parents. And he was kind of embroiled in a bit of show business. Like his dad wound up marrying some woman who was like an original member of the Groundlings, that improv comedy troupe. So he knew people in the industry, even though he wasn't working in the industry yet.
Okay, so not Nepo, but he definitely has connections.
Yes, exactly that. But while he was in his early 20s doing a bunch of production assistant work, he was messing around with his computer on lessons like how to make a lightsaber in Adobe After Effects.
Yeah. I remember that time.
Yeah, right? And so when he figured out how to do that, he shot a short film called Stabbing at Leia's, uncensored. And this short film is about a beer-soaked college rager interrupted by the accidental ignition of a light sword, only for a squad of stormtroopers to arrive and break up the mess.
Sounds like you're about to get sued by Lucasfilm.
Well, no, actually. So here's the thing. He shot this for $100 in his friend's apartment in Echo Park, edited it, and posted it on YouTube that same night. Now, no one watched it, and this is when Trank shot an IM to a friend, clued into the 4chan scene, hoping they'd seed the video into the community. And they did that, and without instant results, Trank went to sleep that night.
Okay, and he woke up and was a sensation.
Yes, that's exactly it. So he woke up and the video had amassed 300,000 views overnight, was highlighted on the front page of Yahoo, and he had 100 emails in his inbox. But these weren't just any emails, Joe. These were from people at Paramount Pictures,
right,
Warner Brothers, MTV, all these studios asking him, oh, hey, are you in LA?
Wow. Okay, so just immediately the pipeline was short film to, hey, Hollywood wants to work with you.
Mm-hmm. And bear in mind, this short film is like 90 seconds long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Folks, if you're, baffled by this chronology, basically it was a very different time.
Which is weird when it was quote-unquote just 15 years ago.
Yeah, but the internet has come so far since
Very
then.
far. So, okay. Trank took his first professional meeting at the age of 22. And
okay. He's got 5 years.
5 years, I know. A few days later, he wound up with a contact at Spike TV to...
Oh, yes.
When that was a thing, right?
Yep.
But he was going to write, direct, and edit a web series spinoff of the John Leguizamo and Donnie Wahlberg bank heist thriller The Kill Point, a movie that I've never heard of.
No.
But the network flew Trank to New York with a budget of $50,000 and a request for 30 pages of material. So he got it made, and after it aired in 2007, there was a problem. To exploit loopholes and avoid union issues, Spike TV ran his webisodes without credits, considering the videos to be more like commercials than actual spin-off content.
Mm-hmm. That is some shady shit.
Now, Joe, remember, this is 2007, and so what would happen a few months later? The Writers Guild strike of America that killed a bunch of our favorite television shows, but...
rip Heroes.
Oh, God, well, the writer's strike didn't kill Heroes, but...
It helped to usher it along, yes.
But that strike lasted for 14 weeks, and it was over contract clauses that would directly address the future of streaming royalties and the shady limbo of web content.
Yes, which we're still dealing with the fallout because that was still an issue when we had our most recent round of strikes in 2023.
Yep, you are correct. So, either way, the Kill Point shorts prompted the Wrestler writer, so the writer of the Aronofsky movie.
Right.
Robert Siegel. And Siegel hired Trank to help produce and edit his low-budget directorial debut, Big Fan. But when that tidy indie film wrapped, the next assignment wasn't there. And so Trank's money was rapidly disappearing because, hello, LA.
Yeah.
He was working on his own scripts and splicing together cinematographer reels for cash. He edited an HBO documentary on sportscaster Marty Glickman. He sold and shot a Fox TV web pilot called McVenge about a dirty Harry-like cop whose reckless abandonment has put him on permanent suspension.
Okay.
Obviously, none of this went anywhere.
No.
So it's not a biological clock, but what is this countdown to 27? His career clock?
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know. But enter Chronicle, an idea that came to Trank in high school, but he took input from budding screenwriter Jeremy Slater. Jeremy Slater, by the way, is the writer of the 2016 film Pet that you and I both really like.
Oh, okay.
He's also the writer of the upcoming Mortal Kombat 2, and he was the showrunner of Fox's The Exorcist TV show.
Why is this guy not on our radar?
I know! I was like, oh my God, but you know
everything you're listing are things that we like.
I know, but you know, we'll talk about it when we talk about Mortal Kombat 2 next year.
There we go. Yes.
But basically, they got together and took and I quote, a reasonable amount of psychotropics to morph... I know.
We had ourselves a party and we wrote a script.
That's basically, yeah. So he had the idea for Chronicle. They got really fucked up, and then they just turned the idea into a movie. And
sure.
Slater says that Chronicle definitely emerged from some of those hazy nights where they would get high and play video games. And while Trank came up with 70% of the beats, Slater sprinkled in elements that would make the story of three fickle teen personalities into popcorn entertainment.
Okay.
So this would have been, like 2009, 2010. So on advice from his agents, Slater passed on writing Chronicle to tackle a promised actual paycheck. So, hey, buddy, don't write a script on spec. Let someone pay you to write something, basically.
Sure. Yes, if you can afford to be in that position, it's always in your best interest.
Mm-hmm. Now, having never completed or sold a feature-length script, Trank felt insecure about pursuing the project alone. So he started looking through names on Facebook.
Wow.
But he was looking for someone in LA who he knew and landed on...
There we go.
Max Landis, the son of writer-director John Landis, of American Werewolf in London fame and, murdering people on the set of the Twilight Zone movie.
Wow. You're just coming out with all the guns, aren't you?
I'm just saying what our listeners are thinking. I mean,
this is true. Yes.
I'm not going to get into the horrific accident that was that Twilight Zone incident, but,
everybody knows.
It happened. So... a feedback session with Max Landis snowballed into an entire writing session, and 2 days after their initial meeting, Landis called Trank to tell him that he had just pitched Chronicle to some producers who wanted a full script immediately. I know. Trank was kind of pissed, but he was not in a position to object. And 3 weeks later, Landis pumped out a draft of the screenplay that was then distributed to major studios. And within 24 hours, Trank's managers were barking at him to do his laundry and prepare to visit every executive office in the greater Los Angeles area, because this was essentially the viral video all over again, except this time, Trank was desperate.
Yeah, so the pressure's on. And also, I'm just going to hit pause so that we can acknowledge I didn't boo, but I probably should have when you mentioned Max Landis. So just in case people have forgotten, he has been accused of rape, assault, and psychological warfare by 8 different women. So real big piece of shit.
8 different women. And I want to point out that in 2019, Trank wrote this on Twitter. I 100% believe every word of this article about Max. I banned him from visiting principal photography of Chronicle, and I haven't spoken to him since 2012. To read about the terror he's inflicted on so many women since then makes me sick to my stomach, heartbroken beyond measure. So he knew as of this movie that Landis was bad news.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, this is what we love to do in Hollywood, right? We know things, we just don't say things.
Which, though, it must have happened after the script writing happened, but then before they were filming, but then at some point,
man, this timeline is...
I know.
It's not timelining.
But I'm like, well, okay, if you knew something when you banned him from the shoot, but did you know that when he was writing the screenplay? I mean, yeah, whatever.
Did you care? Or were you like, well, I can't write the screenplay by myself?
He was desperate, but whatever. That's what happened, so there you go.
Okay.
Now, though Trank and Landis would revise bits of the script before shooting, executives at 20th Century Fox saw Chronicle as a fully formed project, and, if produced, a daring play to attract a younger audience.
Sure.
The studio was not in the business of making low-budget films. At the time, it was also gearing up to prequelize the Alien franchise with Prometheus, so they were like, no, we're doing, like, big things right now.
We're spending hundreds of millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm. But the confidence on the page and in the room was worth gambling on, so Fox gave Chronicle the green light in January of 2011, a few weeks before Trank's 27th birthday.
Oh, wow. He made it. He did it.
Now, Trank cites Fox executive Steve Asbell as a big believer in his skill set and the possibilities that the newcomer could deliver a hit for the studio. And Fox's chairman, Tom Rothman, who was notorious for grappling with directors over the X-Men franchise.
Oh, yes.
Well, yeah, look at that franchise. He loved the script, but detested the way that Trank wanted to do it. And I didn't know what that meant, but I'm assuming he meant found footage. That's what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Trank hoped that Chronicle could break the found footage mold by using his character's telekinetic powers to keep the camera work always on the move. And I will say, we've already pointed this out, but like that to me is kind of the stroke of genius for this movie. I'm always 100%. Aware of where the camera is because of its levitation.
Yes, and I think part of the reason that people forget, like you and I, that it is a found footage film is because we're so used to people having to justify how and when they moved the camera.
And you get out of the shaky cam effect from found footage films, right?
Yeah.
So, to appease the skeptical Rothman, Fox bankrolled a test shoot for $10,000 to see if Trank could prevent the movie from devolving into, and I quote, shaky cam nonsense. So,
all right.
The director started small, orchestrating a proto version of a scene in which the kids move cars with their minds and cause havoc in a diner. The test was enough for Fox to move forward with Trank's more ballistic dreams and give him a budget of $15 million.
Which is not insignificant.
It's not, but honestly, though, given a lot of the effects work, and there's a lot of computer-generated effects in this movie, but I think they look really good.
I agree. Yeah, like I was worried that this was not going to have aged well, particularly since it is kind of video cam augmented up to feature quality. And I think for the most part, like the worst parts to me are still the last act, big battle sequence between Andrew and Matt. But even that, like, it's just that it's shot and edited very quickly. So we're getting more into traditional shaky cam found footage. And I think that's what I'm not liking quite as much.
Yeah, I thought the most CGI looking thing in the movie for me was that spider that I mentioned at the top of the episode.
Yeah. And even that, it doesn't look bad because it's a pretty short scene.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. I wasn't sitting there like, wow, that spider looks like shit. It was just like, oh, that's a CGI spider. Which, obviously, right? We're pulling the legs off of it.
What are we going to do? Kill a real spider for this? No.
We cannot. That's animal cruelty. PETA would lose their shit. Now, Chronicle's relatively low budget kept Trank insulated from studio oversight, allowing him a lot of creative freedom. Basically, the studio was like, it's only $15 million. Like, whatever.
We can afford to lose that in the couch, so it's fine if he makes a couple of big fuck-ups.
Mm-hmm. So to keep costs down, executives insisted that he shoot the movie in Cape Town, South Africa. And funnily enough, Trank discovered that very few Fox executives actually wanted to travel. So because it was so far away, they were like, oh, like, do we really want to travel that far for a film that only cost $15 million?
Wow. So he gets away with it sort of twice, right?
Pretty much. So the found footage style also prevented later interference because each shot was designed around precise actor blocking, action, and special effects. So there were very few ways for anyone to make editorial changes in post-production. So if this was a Weinstein movie, they would have been furious.
Well, they never would have greenlit it.
No, not at all. Not at all. Now, this meant, though, that Trank had absolute control, and in the end, it was exactly the movie he wanted to make, down to a murky tone that perplexed the Fox marketing team.
Yeah, sorry, no, keep going. Well, we'll elaborate on it when we get to the plot, because to me, that is the selling feature of this fucking film.
I think so too. But Trank says, like, the marketing team didn't know exactly what it was. And he says, like, genre is such a formulaic, stupid, robotic way of thinking about things. Like, whatever. But the trailer cutting houses were like, this is gold. Like, we can make a really good trailer out of this.
Well, there's so many different things to pick, right? Mm-hmm. And it's wild to me. In terms of marketing this film, you kind of just got gifted a gold platter because it's basically bad baby X-Men.
Well, I wonder though too, because, okay, can you name me, Joe, 3 found footage movies that are not horror films? Exactly.
Admittedly, also not my favorite genre of film, but no. I mean, to me, found footage exists to be virtually synonymous with horror.
Exactly. And they do exist. I didn't look them up, so I mean, I'm sure there are more than 3 out there that are not horror films. But I think when people see found footage, they think that's a horror movie.
Yes, and to be clear, I'm considering this a horror film because we actively go after people. I mean, I know it gets classified as a superhero
thriller
action thriller film, but we're basically watching a young boy go full ballistic in this film, and I think that there's a lot of horror potential.
Here's the thing. If you think Brightburn is horror, then you have to think Chronicle is horror.
Right. Also, good double bill.
Good double bill. Yeah, absolutely. Very thematically relevant. I just think, this is the PG-13 one. Brightburn is the R-rated one.
There we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So filming started in May of 2011 and continued for 18 weeks, ending in August of that same year. It hit American theaters on Super Bowl weekend, February 3rd, 2012, against fellow new releases The Woman in Black and a movie I forgot existed, the John Krasinski, Drew Barrymore Save the Whales movie, Big Miracle.
Oh, wow. You're saying it, and I feel like I can picture it, but did I remember it existed before 2 minutes ago? No.
I was like, what the fuck is this? I mean, it was still during The Office, too, so I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But Super Bowl weekend is notorious for being like a really bad weekend for the box office because, American football, like no one's going to the movies that weekend. They're going to see the Super Bowl. So
exactly. But that's where this PG-13 rating is going to be helpful.
Well, but I think a lot of kids, I mean, again, I wasn't a teenager that watched the Super Bowl, but like a lot of teenagers do. But either way, this was a record-breaking hit. So Chronicle opened in the #1 spot with a domestic gross of $22 million, making Trank the youngest director ever at the time to open a film at #1.
Okay. All right.
The wild thing, though, Joe, Fox was expecting an $8 million opening weekend, and box office analysts were expecting a $15 million opening weekend, and then it broke all those to get $22 million.
So we overperformed. Mm-hmm. See, that is giving horror right there, because horror overperforms at the box office, baby.
Mm-hmm. Now, at the time, this was the 4th highest gross for a film over Super Bowl weekend ever, and it would go on to gross $64 million domestically and $62 million overseas for a worldwide gross of $126 million.
Wild. Mm-hmm. Like, all of a sudden, that $15 million investment is looking real smart.
Absolutely. And critics liked it, too. We're looking at an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes. Letterboxd users have given this a 3.5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, I guess it's the thing where I would just think that this would have maybe a bigger legacy. And maybe it does, and I'm not in the right circles, but yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think this is a movie that people really liked at the time and have mostly forgotten about.
Yeah, but just to kind of give a, okay, well, what happened to Trank after this? Now, we know Fantastic Four happened, but So let me just read this. So Trank, this is bizarre. He didn't know how to process this newfound success. So the press tour for Chronicle took him all over the world, and he found himself in an extreme depression. He took up smoking cigarettes, and then he started having like meetings with Hollywood elites like Tom Cruise, Margot. He says Margot Robbie, which I was like, in 2012, would Margot Robbie have been like that big of a name? I mean, even Emma Stone's another one he brings up. Also for Timely, he says also Amber Heard.
There we go. There's our time capsule.
But in his words, he says, and I quote, "All I felt was anger toward things. Anger toward kids that I grew up with. I didn't feel any happiness from that. I didn't know how to embrace happiness." And the anger towards kids that I grew up with, because Trank grew up very, very poor, but his mom, like he went to school in Beverly Hills. And so
one of those. Okay.
Yeah. So he had and he admits this. He's like, I had a huge chip on my shoulder. Like I hated being around all these kids that were just billionaires and I had nothing. And so it seems like that chip has carried over with him into his adult life that maybe needs to be dealt with in therapy. But
also, it sounds weird because those experiences sound like they would have been contributing to the film that he's now getting all the success over. But like the way he's describing it makes it sound like he's about to go off and write Chronicle.
Well, and so 2 weeks after Chronicle's release, he felt so adrift that he punched through a wall in his house, cracking his hand on a steel beam.
Oh, fuck. Ouch.
Also with the fantastic voice, I'm like, well, maybe because he had full creative control over Chronicle, that set him up for disappointment with his big studio superhero movie, you know?
Yeah, where, I mean, that film notoriously got played and fucked around with. I mean, we'll never truly know. I mean, there's definitely cut scenes from that film that maybe hint at a different version, but like, we will never see what his original vision was.
And I've never seen, I've always been curious because, you know, when you hear about how something is like as bad as that movie is supposed to be, like you just, you're curious. But I have heard that one of the good things about it was that it does take like a body horror approach to their superpowers, which I have always been very fascinated by.
Yeah, part of it is just anything that you find remotely interesting, you're going to wish there was more of, and the movie will not give it to you. Like, everybody knows it's like, oh yeah, they go to this weird like rocky planet and it's like that's where a bunch of the showdowns happen, and apparently that's like 5 to 10 minutes of the film. It takes forever to get going.
Great. Well, okay, so the last thing before I pass it off to you, Joe. So around this point, he sought advice from Robert Rodriguez, whom he met on the press tour for Chronicle. And he threw himself in his work as a way to cope without healing, leading to many potential development deals, including, back in the day, a hard R-rated Venom movie in the vein of The Mask, which I was like, holy shit, like that sounds awesome.
That sounds great. Yeah.
An adaptation of the video game Shadow of the Colossus, among other things. But of course, Chronicle 2 was desired by the studio. And Max Landis did write a script that focused on a young girl obsessed with math, the surviving character from this movie. And I do love this. Trank said he did everything he could to stall the process because basically he made it difficult for them to set up meetings. He was dodgy about other stuff, all this stuff. So in his words, I did a lot of shitty things because I really didn't ever want to see Chronicle 2 happen.
Huh. I bet you he doesn't feel that way now.
Well, I mean, probably, I don't know, man. I mean, like, I haven't seen much from him recently, like since Capone, but yeah, man, he seems volatile.
Yeah, I mean, as you suggested, he sounds like a great candidate for therapy because it sounds like he does have a bunch of unworked or unresolved issues, some anger management problems, some issues with relinquishing control even. And I think those are all things that like, hey, therapy can be really helpful for that.
And there was a quote that I didn't have it in my notes, but it was basically, this is the paraphrase of it. He says, people have been telling me like how to do things my entire life. And normally I do them my way and it works out just fine. Of course, sometimes it doesn't and it becomes like a big problem, but it's worked more often than not. So that's what I do. Like I don't listen to people. And
it sounds great in theory until you're playing with studio budgets and summer tentpole releases and that kind of stuff. Like the rubber is going to meet the road.
That's where I'm kind of like, well, maybe your job should be an independent cinema then.
Yeah, see if you can go back to small productions where you can get full control and like you can execute your vision. It just has to be on a smaller scale. Well,
and it makes sense that that Fox would give him Fantastic Four because this film kind of is a Fantastic 3 movie.
100%. Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah. What happens in it, Joe?
Well, before we get to the plot, Trace, would you like to play a little game?
I want to play a game. The rules are simple. All you have to do is sit here and talk to me.
Okay, so we're playing the trailer game. We have 3 different rounds. Okay. And then if you do okay with that, then I've got a second game, and we'll see how that goes. So
Okay,
so trailer game, 3 different titles. I'm going to give you one that I think you can probably do well with first. So your first clue, this is a trailer that is on the Chronicle Blu-ray. This blockbuster science fiction film has a budget roughly 10 times larger than Chronicle.
Prometheus.
You are correct. Yes. I had a feeling you were going to get this one very quickly because you had already mentioned it, and it obviously came out the same year, so...
And also $150 million budget. Like, what else is it going to be? A Fox movie in 2012?
Yes. Okay, next trailer. This is a trailer for season 1 of a horror television show.
Is it The Exorcist?
It is not.
Sadly.
No.
Okay, a horror... Oh, wait. Oh, is it American Horror Story?
It is American Horror Story Season 1.
Oh my God. Remember that?
Yeah. Which is also wild to think, okay, in some ways that feels so long ago, but then also you think, oh, that's only 13 years ago. Okay,
but, I mean, 13 years? I mean, for some people, that's half their life.
Shut up, Trace. Okay, third and final trailer. This is not a conventional horror film. Some people would not say it's a horror film at all. So I'm going to say it's a psychological cult film.
Psychological cult. Oh, is it, oh my God. Is it The Sacrament?
It is not The Sacrament.
Okay. I mean, I guess I would call The Sacrament a horror film, but a cult film that toes the genre line from around 2012.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You want the next clue?
Yeah, give me another clue.
Okay. You'll probably get it with this. So, the cult leader in question is played by John Hawkes. It's a tough title.
Fuck. No, I know, because I was going to say False, that Mary Winstead movie, but it's not that, because it's 2014. John, oh my God. Ooh, is there a third clue?
There is a third clue. Elizabeth Olsen plays the PTSD-afflicted lead character.
Marcy May Marlene.
Correct.
Ooh, we need to cover that. It is totally a horror film.
I know. But a lot of people are just like, no, it's just a cult film. Like, she's just in recovery because she got out of the cult. And I was like, Gina and Jenna and I covered this on White Ladies in Crisis last year. And I was like, this movie is so upsetting. And it's fucking scary.
Was that your first time watching it?
Yeah.
And that was Olsen's breakout, too. That was the role that was like, oh, yeah, she's a serious actress.
Oh, she's so fucking good in that movie.
So good. So good. Oh, yeah. Oh, God. I remember I was so turned off by the title because I was like, I can't say all that. But
I know. I'm just like 3M, 4M, whatever it is.
Yeah, no.
Martha.
It's a really good movie. Really good movie.
Very good, folks. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. On to game number 2 because you did that so well so quickly. Trace, you love it when I play this one.
Oh, no.
This is the how many of these films have we covered? Can you name them all? So, superhero films. Name all of the superhero titles that we have covered on the main feed or the Patreon.
Okay, I mean, we did cover Brightburn, right?
We have not.
We didn't cover Brightburn? Oh, my God.
I know. That one also feels like a pretty good candidate for down the road.
Okay, so a superhero movie. There can't be that many items.
Here's the thing. Once you get one, you should get several of them.
Oh, because it must be a franchise, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
A superhero movie. Superhero.
Would you like a hint?
Yeah, I'm going to need a hint.
Okay. This will unlock several of them if you get it. Daywalker.
Oh my God. Blade Trinity for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Blade 1.
Mm-hmm.
Have we covered Blade 2?
Audio commentary.
Okay.
So that's 3. Now you need to figure out what are the other ones.
Okay. So a superhero movie. I guess what is an art? Fuck me. I don't know, man. Give me a clue.
Okay. One of them is from DC. As in the DC, like Marvel DC.
No, I know. I'm just saying that doesn't help me.
Oh my God. The people are going to be yelling. People
I know,
are definitely yelling.
I know.
Trace, who is a famous superhero?
A famous superhero in DC, but like, we haven't covered a Batman movie, have we? Oh, Batman! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Okay, so folks who are yelling at Trace, this would be Batman Returns, Batman Forever,
yes,
Batman and Robin, Batman Mask of the Phantasm.
Yes, I got it.
Okay, so because you tanked that, now you have to get the 8th and final title. This one is going to be harder because you have absolutely forgotten about it.
Yeah, I totally have. Okay, well then what's the clue for this one?
It is a superhero team.
A superhero team. Okay. We have not covered Suicide Squad. We have not covered Justice League.
I can tell you it was released initially on Patreon, and then we released it on the main feed.
Oh, yay. Okay, and it's a superhero team. I don't know, man. I'm not good at this.
Okay. This is tough, because this is the one where I was like, did we cover this? Yes. No, we absolutely did. Okay. The New Mutants.
Oh, man. We did cover that shit. Oh, okay. Yep, forgot about that.
That one also had a notoriously troubled production.
That was also like our first year.
I think it was 2020.
Oh, actually, you know what? I will tell you. Oh, yep. Yep, you were right. It was 2020. It was like February, I think.
There we go.
Oh my god. Well, fuck that up.
I love that you couldn't get Batman. That was my favorite cherished new memory.
I honestly, the first 3 years of our podcast, I could remember every single episode we did. And then at a certain point, it all went away.
I mean, I love that you're saying this. We literally covered a Batman movie this year.
I know. I know.
Oh, that was great. Thank you for playing.
Of course, yeah. No, absolutely. I'm glad to provide some laughs. What happens in this fucking movie, Jeff?
Okay, yes. Sorry, now I'm back up.
Is anyone out there?
Another salesperson enduring the endless search. Exhausting. If you want to get right to the right conversations, you need LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Whether you're looking for new leads or strengthening existing relationships at your top accounts, get right to the right conversations with LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Try LinkedIn Sales Navigator now with a free 60-day trial at linkedin.com/trial. That's linkedin.com/trial.
Terms and conditions apply!
Whether you're gifting, decorating, or treating yourself, Lowe's December deal drops are here to help you save more all month long. Get up to 50% off select holiday decor. Plus, get up to 45% off select tools and accessories. Shop new December deal drops every week this month and get so much more out of your holidays. Lowe's, we help, you save. Selection varies by location while supplies last.
Need to restock inventory, cover seasonal dips, or manage payroll? OnDeck's small business line of credit provides immediate access to funds, up to $200,000, exactly when your business needs it. With flexible draws, transparent pricing, and full control over repayment, you can tackle unexpected expenses without missing a beat. Apply today at OnDeck.com, and funds could be available as soon as tomorrow. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank. OnDeck does not lend in North Dakota. All loans and amounts subject to lender approval.
So the movie opens with Andrew, who is played by Dane DeHaan, looking just very sad and very pale in this film. And we see him setting up a camera in his bedroom as a kind of insurance policy against his drunken father, Richard, who I had forgotten was played by Michael Kelly.
Do you have a familiarity with Michael Kelly?
Yes, I believe he's from House of Cards, if I'm not mistaken.
He is, yeah. House of Cards, and it looks like The Sopranos is a big one for him as well.
See, I've never seen The Sopranos.
I mean, I've never seen House of Cards either, so it's fine.
Oh, really? Oh, I think you would like, well...
It's hard to watch now. Honestly, the reason I wanted to watch it the first season was because of Kate Mara, and then I found out that she gets killed at the end of the season or the beginning of season 2, and I was like, well, I'm out. Yeah. So.
I mean, that was a great twist, though. I will say, if you are interested in the conceit, Charles Dance plays the Kevin Spacey role in the British original, and that is a mini-series. So it's like 3 2-hour episodes. So if you're looking for a smaller commitment with the same ideas.
Instead of one that goes on for like 6 or 7 seasons.
Oh boy, I gave up on the American one, I think, in the 2nd season. I was like, no. Although Robin Wright is really, really good as the First Lady.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, I was more intrigued to watch it after Spacey was kicked off because she took over, but...
She does.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so yes, this is the alcoholic father, Richard. He is definitely abusive, so a little bit of content warning. This kid, Andrew, is just living the worst possible life. Like, it's one of those things where you think, this feels almost overdone. Like, there's no silver lining for Andrew. He goes to school and he gets beaten up and people make fun of him. And he has this cousin, Matt, who is played by Alex Russell. And you can tell that the cousin feels sorry for him, but also doesn't want to spend time with him outside of this fucking car.
Dude, I was trying the whole time. I was okay. I know Michael B. Jordan. I know Dane DeHaan. Where the fuck do I know Alex Russell from? And I was looking and I was like, I don't know any of this shit. And I did find it. So he's one of the guys in Bait 3D, the shark in the grocery store movie.
Yes.
But he plays Billy Nolan in the Kimberly Pierce remake of Carrie.
Yeah, I just rewatched that for our discussion with Kill by Kill earlier this year, and I could not tell you he was in that movie.
No, because Billy's
completely
yeah, it's so boring. But I will say, he plays Billy Nolan much differently than he plays Alex, because they are very different characters, so he's a good actor.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, I remember finding him cute when I saw this the first time around, which would have been probably 2012 or 2013. I think I watched this on DVD.
But he is the least interesting character out of the three boys.
Oh, 100%, which is why he ends up becoming the protagonist.
I
know! Not gonna lie, I was like, oh, okay. We've got some early Michael B. Jordan in here, and he's not quite baby version of him, but you can definitely see that he is quite a bit younger than like the man he will grow up to become. He's not Marvel jacked. He's not, charisma star. He just pops more than the other two when he's on screen. You're like, oh, yeah, this dude's got something.
Well, and it's also because his relationship with Dane DeHaan's Andrew, again, is one of the more interesting facets of the story. Andrew's relationship with Matt, I couldn't give two shits about.
No, and we never quite get there, right? Because when they should be coming together is right when Matt really starts to become suspicious of him, because we kind of have to get rid of Steve before we can really start to put the cousins together, and we don't go there.
But I do, and it was Steve was always going to die in the middle point of this. In the original version of the script, he was actually going to get killed by a plane when it came by when they were in the air instead of the lightning strike.
Oh, that would not have been as satisfying.
I agree. But I actually wonder if it would be better for me if Matt was the one who died halfway through the movie and Steve was the one left alive. Yeah, exactly.
100%. Because here's the thing, folks. The reason we're covering this, as I alluded to at the end of last week, is because I truly do think that Andrew is queer-coded. And there's more in here than I remembered when I watched it. It's like he and Steve get awfully close. And it's not just, oh, you're my only friend. Like, Steve has a girlfriend, and I forget about her throughout the entire film, even when she's on screen with him in one single scene.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because the Andrew character, it's interesting, because it's a little reductive, right? It's like, oh, he has an alcoholic, abusive father. Oh, he's bullied at school. Therefore, he's troubled and going to turn into a psychopath.
Yes.
But that could also work for, it's a gay kid in the 2000s in school.
100%, which is how I choose to read him.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree with you. I do think it's a bit reductive. Like, this feels a little paint by numbers in terms of character backstory. But I think that it's still... It hits harder than I expected, if only because I'm not used to actually seeing violence. Like, we see Andrew get the shit beaten out of him by his own father, and usually the camera will cut away.
Yeah, but we can't because this is found footage, so it's like, who's going to move the camera?
Yeah. I mean, I guess he could try to cover it up. Like, that is some of the things. Like, we don't talk about who's editing this footage because ultimately Andrew will die, and we never really get to see him sit down and do anything into his computer. He's always being interrupted by his father. So there are still narrative conceits that if this was a real found footage, who did all the editing and like, why is it perfectly edited at certain points? It's fine. We go with it because if not, it's a boring movie to watch.
Well, I think maybe I've said this before when we were talking about a found footage film, but my thing is this, like, I don't care about that kind of stuff when I'm watching a found footage movie. And the only time I do is if the movie is not capturing my attention. So I'm paying attention to the flaws.
Yeah, because you're bored with the narrative or the rest of the film isn't working for you, so you start to kind of tear it apart in its construction. That's not happening here because also this movie, as you have mentioned, is fucking short. So we are on the move.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I don't know. I feel like for a lot of people that found footage is their favorite subgenre, like that's the first thing they look at when they walk into one of these movies.
Yeah. And I do like the film makes it pretty obvious. Like, you know, we start with, okay, Andrew randomly decides he's going to make being a videographer his passion project. It's like the thing that's going to help him get through the next couple of days because he just can't with his father anymore. So he becomes the weird camera guy at school. And I buy that. But then as soon as we get the powers, it's like, cool, I'm super powered and I'm just going to float this camera around. And I forget it's found footage.
Yeah, and exactly. And I think that's why I didn't remember this was a found footage movie.
Yeah. Okay, so they arrive at school, and as I mentioned, Matt clearly does not want to be seen publicly with Andrew, so he's going to stay in the car, and he'll pick him up later, and we get to see what Andrew's everyday existence is like, and it sucks. He's isolated, he doesn't have any friends, he eats lunch by himself on the bleachers, but he's also a teenage boy who is kind of pervy, so he sets up the camera directly pointed at the cheerleaders until they call him out for being weird and creepy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, it's very Carrie-y, right? Where you just like want to shake him sometimes and be like, dude, just like be socially good.
I will say there's something mildly refreshing about seeing this in a boy form as opposed to a girl form. Like,
I agree.
Carrie is great because it's De Palma and it's Sissy Spacek, and like that movie is just fucking firing on all cylinders. And we love The Rage Carrie too because it updates it in a familiar way that still feels like the original. But like, I've seen way too many wallflower girl stories where they're sad and, you know, they get sexually humiliated. And like, we will get a sexual humiliation in this film, but this film does a really interesting job of highlighting the weird line between toxic masculinity and just sad, burgeoning on incel boy behavior. Like, it's a very different existence for a boy in this position versus a girl in this position.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think there's a movie coming out later this year called The Plague that deals with similar stuff. And it's like, oh, yeah. I think maybe movies are going to finally learn that teen boys are actually the worst.
Yeah, I mean, teen girls are terrible, but teen boys are just as bad in different kinds of ways.
And we don't see them captured in film as often.
I feel like if we do, it's often around violence. And I think that there's actually more mental mind games that boys play.
Yes.
It's just not in the Mean Girls kind of camp that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's because teenage boys being mean is just depressing.
It's depressing, or I don't think you can get away from the violence of it, which is why this film ultimately ends with the cousins, you know, reenacting or anticipating rather scenes from Man of Steel in the downtown of Seattle, because of course it was always going to come to violence between them. But leading up to that, the sort of mental mind fuckery that we're playing, like all the prank stuff, to me felt very teenage boy.
Yeah, for sure. But not over the top. Because, I mean, look, I guess I'll use Carrie as the example too. But like, it's one of those things where it's like, the plug it up scene is horrifying, but I'm also like, would kids really do that? And the answer might be yes, you know, but I feel like
the answer is yes, I think.
But in movies, I feel like we do the meanest things we can, and like way meaner than what happens in real life. And again, not to say that these things don't happen in real life, but I feel like generally speaking, like it's not that bad. So this felt like more realistic in a way where I was like, oh, it's not like movie bullying. It's like this feels like more like real life bullying, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, like there is a bully character in here named Wayne, who is played by Rudy Malcolm, and he does it just enough not to get caught or on any of the adults' radars. And of course, Andrew understands that you can't tattle on a bully because it will only make your life worse. Like you either have to solve the problem yourself and it's going to be violent, or you shut up and take it and hope for graduation to come as soon as humanly possible. And it feels like Andrew would have been in the latter camp had he not gotten powers, because yeah, like Wayne is obviously shitty, you know, he roughs him up, he kicks the camera around, but it's not like he's doing anything so bad that we're going to get in trouble. Like, he's not throwing Andrew off the roof or breaking any of his bones or something like that, because that would get you suspended. That would get you expelled.
Yeah.
Okay, so we get a ride home with Matt, and Matt basically says, you know what, you should try to get out more. You should try to meet people, because Matt is actually quite popular, we will come to discover. And so he suggests his cousin come to this party tonight, even though Andrew doesn't drink, he doesn't really know anybody, but he thinks, oh, this is my cousin extending an olive branch. I will go and spend time with him. Now, Matt does say, you should think about leaving the camera at home, because it just... you know,
it's creepy.
It's a little creepy. It's a little bit weird. Like, I think for some people, this is just a little too American Beauty.
He just need the paper bag.
Yeah.
Plastic bag. Oh my God. Sorry.
Plastic bag.
Yeah.
We got there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so typically this is Weird Loner 101. If you want to be canonized as the sort of bizarre kid at school, yeah, bring a camera everywhere you go.
And DeHaan, I mean, like, this, I don't mean this in like a negative way, but like, he looks the part.
He totally looks the part. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so just continuing Andrew's terrible existence, we do have local drug dealers who throw bottles at him when he gets out of the car to go home. So, you know, we get the impression he's not living in the best of neighborhoods. And yeah, his dad is a total piece of shit. Like, he can't even get into his room to plug in the camera before his dad comes in to beat the shit out of him for locking the door this morning.
Yeah. It is upsetting. This is domestic violence, right? That's what we call this?
Yeah, more or less, yeah.
It's upsetting, but it's not, like, repellent, I guess is what I would say. I guess I'm thinking about that scene in, remember in the black phone when the drunk dad, like, beats the girl? And everyone, like, it was really contentious for some viewers because it just feels almost out of place a bit in the movie.
Yeah.
I don't feel the same way about this here, but I also don't feel like this is quite as upsetting as, like, that scene in that movie.
No, the belt isn't coming off, but the violence here is, I'm not going to say unexpected, because we knew that the dad was violent based on what we saw at the beginning of the film, but it does feel so abrupt, right? You know, we're watching as Andrew plugs in this camcorder, and it's like, yeah, let's see what the footage looks like. And all of a sudden, the dad is just in there, clocking him across the head, throwing him onto the ground, and then the violence is over. And you come to understand, oh, this is what every day is like in this house.
And I think it's important to see. I mean, I said, you know, it's a bit reductive, like, oh, he's got an alcoholic dad and he's bullied at school, but like,
it's just because it's a story we have heard so many times. But I think this movie doesn't pull its punches.
It doesn't, and I think it's important too that we get to see Andrew crying by himself in his room after this too. So we're building empathy for a character as we have to go on this journey of him turning into a supervillain.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so we do go to this Haven Hills rave because, dear Lord, we're still living in a time with raves.
I think raves still happen.
I think so. I mean, I remember very vividly a time in the late 90s where raves were the thing. Like, I would go and party at the rave with my coworkers from the restaurant.
Well, I think about, like, what is that? The Electric Daisy Carnival? Like, they're all over the country now, and it's like, that's just where you go and do Molly and listen to EDM music and, like, have glow sticks, which I was like, well, that's a rave.
Yeah, that's a rave. That's 100% a rave. That's what we did. You were either buying fruit from the fruit stand, or you had one of those ring pops so that you didn't faint from dancing. Yeah, okay, so he has unfortunately brought the camera, even though Matt more or less told him don't do this, and Matt does not stick around. He leaves immediately as soon as we get here.
And bear in mind, even though this is 2012, this isn't an iPhone camera, because I think we're in iPhone 1 or 2 at this point. Like, this is a big reporter camera.
Yeah, he looks like he's shooting footage for the local news.
Yes, or like B-roll for something, yeah.
Yeah, which is why Casey, who is Ashley Hinshaw, who will eventually become Matt's girlfriend, but, you know, they have a will they, won't they, obviously they will vibe. But, like, that's why she is there shooting stuff, because she has a vlog, Trace. Yeah. A vlog.
I will say, I don't care about Matt and Casey's relationship, but...
I like her.
I actually like her, and I would have taken more of her, actually.
100%. Yeah, there's a point where it almost feels like Matt and she dip out of the film. But really, by that point, it has become Andrew's story. And then it's more, oh, right, when he gets super angry and we hear the frequency sound effect, that means bad things for Matt, because all of their powers are secretly connected.
Which is kind of gay.
It's a little bit gay. Yeah. So Casey and Matt do clearly know each other. She makes fun of the fact that he's trying to philosophize this party because, yes, we should note that one of the things that Matt does throughout the film is he will constantly try to bring up philosophy and heady ideas. You know, he talks about the theory of the cave, which is a philosophical debate, almost like a problem solving, like a trolley thing. And I don't know. I kind of love that we give these characteristics to Matt, but also he's a fucking poser.
Oh yeah.
Like he is the quintessential definition of a high school boy who's trying to impress people with his intellect, but he basically read the summary and then he's like, yeah, I think this is really important. Maybe it'll help me to catch chicks.
And that's the thing is like as is written, like Matt is just the least interesting character in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think he serves a purpose. There's just a lot of time where I wish that the film was a little bit longer so we could spend more time with him and Steve. But the problem is that it would really dramatically affect the pacing of the film. Like, this movie is short by construction because we are constantly just trying to escalate and up the stakes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so Andrew ends up earning some more abuse. He gets a drink thrown on him because a guy notices that he is filming his girlfriend dancing on a platform. We should note, Andrew is always doing the things that he gets caught for. So he is a pervy creep, and he always tries to pass it off like, no, that's not what I'm doing. And everybody knows.
And that's the thing is like, you know, you feel empathy for him in the scenes where his dad's beating him, but like then you see him, he's just being a creep. But then you're like, well,
stop being a little creep.
But he's learning it from his father, so it's just cyclical.
I mean, I do wish that we also got a bit more of his dad because we'll get a backstory. We'll hear about Steve's parents' backstory. Like, some of these things are clearly meant to inform who these teenage boys have become and where they might go. But I get the impression that Andrew's father is taking things out on him, but also I don't know about how he treats women. Like, I do think that Andrew's misogyny is based in the fact that he's just kind of a shit teenage boy.
Yeah, that's it. There's no accountability either.
Yeah, so technically we have seen Steve Montgomery, this is Michael B. Jordan, before, but only in signage form because he is running for political office at the high school. So this is technically his introduction, is when Andrew is outside crying and Steve comes up to find him because he and Matt, who are friends, have discovered something in the woods.
Because I think it's unexpected that Steve is just a really nice guy.
Oh, I fully thought that he was going to do something terrible to him.
Yeah, right? Like, and I guess maybe that's why he has to die, because he's really the one that, like, I think as an audience you latch onto as being like, oh, that's the good guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, he's actually going to act as a kind of moral compass. He's actually a good friend. He seems to like spending time with Andrew, unlike Matt, who only really comes around to him because they all get this gift at the same time.
Yeah, like Steve doesn't treat Andrew like a burden like Matt does.
100%. Yeah. Okay, so we go through the woods, we find a hole in a clearing, and again, I'm just probably going to keep saying this throughout the episode, so if you want to maybe take a drink every time I do, it's teenage boy behavior that if you find a hole in the ground, you're not even going to stop to think about it, you're just going to jump right in.
Which I'm like, okay, like, where's your, like, fucking climbing gear? They just jump down this thing.
Right? I mean, we don't even get an impression of how deep it is, but I was like, that looks more than 6 feet. I hope you don't break an ankle.
Now, so, you know, they go down here, we find a glowing rock. And what I think a smart thing this movie does is we don't get any more context to what this thing is. They have a glowing rock. It gives them a nosebleed. It gives them powers. That's it.
Mm-hmm. And I love, there's a moment where you see Steve sort of touch it, and this, I called it a chrysalis meteor. People have speculated this is obviously some kind of alien rock thing. Mm-hmm. But there's a moment where Steve goes to touch it, and you can see that there are veins or tendrils within the rock that seems to react when he gets closer. And it also seems to react to the camera. So there's like two different things that are setting it off. It's technology, but then also heated human bodies. And yeah, we just go from this moment to them all crying out in pain. It goes dark, and then all of a sudden we pick the action back up as we're doing the ball test in the backyard. And yeah, I love that we will never be able to revisit this meteorite chrysalis thing because the hole will just fill itself up and clearly it's being policed.
Right.
But we also, we don't get any kind of explanation about what this is. And I love it. I don't care, and I don't want to know more.
Well, because imagine how much of a runtime would be taken up by them doing the investigation to figure out what this is. I mean, it's a completely separate movie.
And they're teenage boys. Like, if anything, that is probably what the promised sequel would deliver, because it's what Matt promises the video camera of his dead cousin at the end of this film, right? Like, I'm going to look into what happened to us down in that cave. Boom, sequel.
Yeah.
Also, I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care at all.
Like, they went into the cave, they got powers, and now they're doing shit. Like, that is the more interesting film. It's not where did the powers come from, how do they work? Like, I don't care.
And I love that with the exception of, like, all the cops at the end of the movie, we don't have, like, oh, it's like the FBI coming in because we have to study these boys and pull an ET. I don't give a shit about that. That's boring.
No. There's no Mulder and Scully. There's no, we're setting up a tent and people are coming from all over the country. Like, no. We're not doing that. And I think in some ways, I guess another comparison that I would link this to is something like Cloverfield.
I was thinking Cloverfield too, actually.
Well, because originally the other game I was going to play is, which found footage films have we covered? But I think it's just 2. It's
There is no way we have just covered 2 found footage films.
It's Cloverfield, and then it's the lesbian one with the old lady who unhinges her jaw.
Oh, yeah. Taking of Deborah Logan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You know me. I'm not going to be able to tell you off the top of my head what they are.
Right. We've established this is not your best game.
I'm sure we've done more than 2 found footage films, but I don't know. We'll see.
Batman. We've done Batman. Yeah. Okay. So we get to watch them start to experiment with these skills, and it seems obvious that Andrew is the most advanced, so he can stop the ball in midair, although it does give him a nosebleed. So here we go. We use our powers. We get a nosebleed. But I love that the film isn't interested in just, every time we use them, we get a nosebleed. It's a muscle. You got to train it. We're getting stronger. The nosebleeds only come when we push too far and we could snap.
Well, and as you said, they're all connected. So, like, if one of them uses their powers really strongly, then all their nosebleeds.
Yeah. And I love that the movie never needs to say it. If you're watching and you're paying attention, you will come to understand that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's not a particularly complex film, but yes.
Trace, I read a number of reviews that were like, and they don't even tell us where the powers came from, or like where that rock was, or what are the limits. And I was like, these are not the questions you should be asking. Half of those questions are answered, and the other half are uninteresting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what you want from this movie.
To find out where the powers came from, Joe.
Oh my God. Least interesting answer. Okay, yes. So we're going to test this a little bit. So we see them, building Lego, debating, like, what does this all mean? We should note this is where we do get confirmation that Steve has a girlfriend, and up to 3 weeks have passed, and they basically just been spending all of their time together exercising these newfound powers. So part of me is like, okay, either Steve's relationship with his girlfriend is not that good. Like, we will get confirmation later on that he is apparently fucking her somewhat regularly because he's using his power to do a better job of it. Question mark. But if you're just going by what we see on screen, it's like, I'm blowing off my girlfriend to spend time with my 2 friends so that we can build Legos and pull pranks. Like, it's giving gay.
I will say, yes, it is. A bunch of teenagers playing Legos together with their powers. I could not stop thinking about that when they're talking about all having sex with all these girls and stuff. I was like, you're lucky that you don't accidentally, like, blow the girl up while you're inside of her. Like, because I guess maybe I've watched too much of The Boys, where I'm just like, okay, a lot of bad things can happen with your superpowers that you haven't learned to master yet.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's The Boys or Gen V, but I think it might be The Boys, where that one guy, like, runs into his male partner's asshole, and then it is his penis, and he, like, blows it up by accident.
Yeah, I think he sneezes and he gets big while he's still inside the urethra.
Yeah,
because it's like a sounding kink, but it's just like instead of a rod down the urethra, he just runs inside. He just runs
into it. Yeah. Fun stuff.
If you've never seen The Boys, that's what you get.
Among many, many other things, including episodes with puppets in Gen V. So, Yeah, one line of dialogue I definitely wrote down is, so Steve starts asking questions about like, oh, you know, what do I tell my girlfriend? I've been dodging her and she's starting to get upset. And Matt jokes, why are you asking us? Like, because clearly he doesn't have a girlfriend, and we will come to discover that Andrew is a virgin. And then Andrew just laughs and says, because we're his mistress.
Yeah. Oh.
Which is obviously like, oh, well, he's stepping out on his sexual girlfriend so that he can spend time with his male friends. But part of me is like, I've never once ever referred to friends as my mistress.
Well, you can also maybe, if you really want to go into a deeper read, them using their powers together is a form of copulation or sex. Maybe copulation, I guess, maybe implies procreation. But But either way, it's their sex is using their powers together.
Yeah, it's more like, let's all get together and jack off.
Yeah, yes.
It's not like gay to masturbate in front of your male friends, especially when you're just experimenting.
Oh my God, I use that on some of my straight friends because I think I told you this, but like I found my dad's like porn VHS tapes when I was in middle school. And I had like 2 or 3 different friends that I would invite over to watch them so we could jack off together. But like, I would always try to play that as like, oh yeah, I mean, you get on the floor and I'll be on the bed so I can, you know, look at your dick while you're doing that.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm not going to mention the fact that that's also how John Wayne Gacy lured in a number of his victims, but okay, Trey.
I was 12 or 13.
Okay, so, yeah, they try to go back to the hole to, you know, get some answers, but it's been filled in. This is when the police are there. They warn them to leave because it's not safe. And then in the car, it's just Steve and Andrew, and Steve pointedly asks Andrew if the camera creates a barrier between him and the real world. And there's a couple of times that we directly acknowledge the fact, oh, okay, right, we are seeing manufactured content that Andrew is filming. Mm-hmm. And I kind of like this as a larger question about not just cinema, not just found footage, but like this idea of, oh, okay, are you really engaging with the world if you're just spending all of your time videotaping it? And I will say, as somebody who lives in the contemporary world, like whenever I go to a concert or some kind of event and people aren't even participating in it, they're just filming it.
Yeah.
And I always wonder, A, do they get to experience it for themselves, or is it just mediated through their phone? Mm-hmm. And also, who the fuck wants to watch an entire concert from somebody else's cell phone footage? Like, maybe one number, but I don't want to watch 2 hours of anybody's set.
I mean, like, you say that, but like, you know, if someone releases a bootleg version of a phone recording of a Taylor Swift concert, you don't think that all those Switches are going to watch that shit?
But here's the thing. There's like 10,000 people doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I watch yours over somebody else's? Like, it's just, nobody's actually enjoying the concert. You're too busy trying to film it so that you can post it later. Mm-hmm. It just always struck me as very odd.
No, I do think it's odd. I just don't think it's particularly, like, uncommon is what I was going to say, but I guess I can't really say it.
Nowadays, for sure.
But I agree with you, and I think like this conversation is actually a very prescient conversation, like for 2012 even, because again at this point we didn't have, like, not everyone had an iPhone at this point in time, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like when we get to the end of the film and Andrew actually steals all of those phones from people at the Space Needle, it's the first time we actually see phones with cameras.
Yeah.
Because we should note that he actually lost the first camera basically in between getting their powers and then playing the ball game. He lost his initial camera, so he actually had to go out and buy a new one. So the new one is a little bit smaller. It's a bit more sophisticated, so the quality actually increases. But it's not like he buys an iPhone and then just uses that to shoot the rest of the film.
But I also will say that going back to this question that Steve asked to Andrew, like, I think it's also a very deep philosophical question for Steve to be asking Andrew. Right? So he's not just like, you know, the football jock that's running for student council president or whatever the fuck. Like, he's also like genuinely smart.
Well, and it's a genuine philosophical question, unlike what Matt is posing, where he's just like, oh, I'm stating philosophers, and then he just drops it like, oh, okay, do something with that. You know, this is a genuine philosophical question, but it's also that Steve can get to know Andrew better. Like, he's trying to understand, what do you get from shooting everything from the camera? Don't you think you're actually missing out on genuine human connection? Like me, I'm sitting right next to you in the car.
And that's what makes Steve so much more interesting than Matt.
100%. Yes. And also Michael B. Jordan, who's stunningly gorgeous.
I guess we should point out, he's a very good actor, yes.
He is, yeah. I mean, he's not just a piece of eye candy, folks. He can actually act. Okay, so this is where we do get a little bit more backstory. So this is where we learn about Andrew's father being a firefighter who was injured, and now he's an alcoholic. And we hear Steve speculate that his mother is engaging in infidelity. So his parents seem to have things going right, but it's one of those, oh, actually, things are not great if you start to look at people, because like this movie is actually a little interested in the surface level projections that people have, but there's actually way more shit going on beneath the surface. And in a literal reading, it's, oh, these three boys look like they're normal high school students and they have superpowers. And the other version is, oh, Andrew seems to be doing okay and he's actually unraveling.
Yep.
But even Steve, who seems totally normal, running for political office, well-liked, popular, good-looking, and he's like, no, actually, my parents are falling apart.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah. Okay. So, back at home, we see Andrew practicing his power so that we can float the camera. This is the film also getting ready to stop excluding Dane DeHaan from the film. Like, we will actually begin putting him front and center, moving Andrew literally into the prime spotlight.
Which I love. I love that.
Yeah. I should note that we can also hear his father yelling on the phone about his mom, so we understand that he's not just a drunk who beats his son. Like, there is something more complicated to this as well, right? Where clearly money is an issue and something to do with the mom's medical cancer treatments is not going well.
Because he has to pay $700 for something. He's like, I can't afford $700. And of course, the idea is, well, maybe if you stop buying a bunch of beer all the time, then maybe you'd have $700.
Yeah, of course, alcoholism isn't that cut and dry, as we know, but
No.
Yeah, I mean, the dad is clearly, we will come to understand, the dad is much more interested in blaming Andrew for what is going wrong, as opposed to acknowledging, oh, I need to maybe get myself into treatment, or I need to find a way to make some money so my wife doesn't die.
I mean, it's a thing where, honestly, I understand why the dad is the way he is. You know, I mean, like,
sure.
Like you say, like the backstory, you know, he injured himself as a firefighter. He can't work. His wife has cancer, which I'm sure is very stressful. And
yeah.
So, I mean, I understand why he's like this. It explains it, doesn't excuse it.
No, exactly that. Yeah. I haven't mentioned, but the mom's name is Karen. She's played by Bo Peterson.
You'll see her like 2 or 3 times in this movie.
Yeah. There's this one scene where she and Andrew are out on the patio. It's like right around this section of the film. And she essentially says, you know, you're stronger than this. And I don't know what she's referring to. Is it just like, you're going to get out of this house, you're going to be fine kind of deal? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe just a generic platitude.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so we spend a little bit of time with Andrew and Matt, and this is where we get a better sense of what their quote-unquote friendship is, because it's clear that Andrew thought that they were better friends, but he understands that Matt just keeps ditching him for different things, and Matt confesses that Andrew isn't the easiest person to talk to, which is really, really neat in contrast to the conversation we just had with Steve. It's like, well, maybe Matt isn't making half the effort that Steve is, because Steve didn't seem to have a problem.
Like, Steve makes you makes me want to open up and talk to him, you know? But Matt, it's almost like transactional.
Yeah, and I think also that Matt just rests on pretty. He doesn't want to make an effort because he doesn't like doing things that are hard.
Yeah, sure.
He would rather just impress people.
I guess that's his journey, his arc throughout the movie, is that by the end of the film, he changes.
Well, and he's also much more open about his affection for his cousin. I think you said it earlier, he not resents him, but he doesn't enjoy spending time with him. It's like, oh, I'm doing this because I have to, because you're my cousin.
Right.
Okay, so yes, we get things like a definition for telekinesis, which is what our powers are. We use a leaf blower to get an upskirt view of a couple of different girls at school because we're still teenage boys. And this is where Matt breaks out his theory that their powers are like muscles. They're elastic. They need to exercise them to get stronger with them, but also they need to be careful not to overexert themselves. So we do a series of pranks. We have a montage at a toy store. you know, it's all fun and games. Like, I enjoy the bit where we basically manipulate the cart away from the woman and she doesn't understand how this keeps happening. But then it ends by going from fun and games into pushing this guy into shelving. And you realize, okay, no, we're starting to cross lines.
And I guess really at this point in 2012, this would have been particularly novel, at least in terms of like film superhero movies, you know, where it's like, oh, what if someone with these powers does something. Well, no, I guess it's just a supervillain. I was like, but I guess, I don't know, set in the worlds of reality. Like, this doesn't feel like a heightened comic book world, you know?
Right, yeah. I mean, we saw Superman go dark in Superman 2, and that's back in the 80s, but he's a grown-ass man, and that's the second film, right? This is, what if teenagers whose frontal lobes are not fully developed and who want to impress girls, who want to impress their buddies, you know, like, I find it fascinating. Like, let's talk about this diner sequence, because I think that's where a lot of the thesis of the film really starts to come together, because Matt says, oh, I want to be altruistic, as if to suggest I'm going to use my powers for good. I'm going to improve the world. But all we're doing is pulling pranks. Like, we pull this trolley away from this kindly server and she smashes a dish, or we use our powers to make a Jesus in the syrup. And it's like, who does this benefit, dumb fucks? You're just being shitty boys.
Absolutely. And also, for as smart as Steve is, he does have to Google the definition for telekinesis and tell the other boys what. This feels very much like for the audience thing, but 100%. I was like, yeah. I think people in the audience know what telekinesis is.
I mean, by this point, we've had more than a decade of X-Men movies.
Yeah, so, right?
Like, we've seen Professor X in action. You're basically your X-babies. Just accept it and move on.
Maybe that's the Carrie homage, because Carrie does have to go to the library, use the Dewey Decimal System, read about telekinesis. But, like, again, that's 1976, 76, so it's like,
Yeah, we are a long way past Carrie at this point. Yeah. I will say, though, you know, we talked about how the visuals are really convincing. Like, they are well executed, and I think that they still hold up. So watching Steve move this woman's car from one parking spot to another, you know, it's like, oh, he moves a car with his mind, but we don't see wires. It doesn't look cartoony bullshit CGI. So I'm always really impressed with all of this, minus some of the flying bits. It looks a little bit harnessy, but even that, I think for a $15 million movie, it's solid.
Yeah. No, it looks good. It looks good. But yeah, I agree. All this pranking shit, I'm just like, y'all are assholes. Like, this does not endear me to you at all. Because even just looking at that woman looking for her car in that parking lot, I was like, oh, you poor thing.
Yeah, and they lose their shit laughing as she looks over at them, and they're just like, oh, we're Mormon. Oh, what does that even mean? And here's the thing. I was a shitty dude. In my teens, I pulled pranks. I nearly got expelled from school. I've told you I lit a school field on fire with my friends, and I got chased by the police helicopter back in Calgary. Like, I did stupid things. So I get it. But I do love how we get this series of different things where, yeah, we're working the muscle, we're trying dumb boy things, and then all of a sudden Andrew just swipes this redneck truck through the guardrail and into, I mean, what is this? A tiny lake? And we hospitalize this guy. And all of a sudden it's gone from, we were having fun, to, oh shit, we got to get this under control.
Well, and Steve is the one who jumps in the water to rescue the driver. Andrew doesn't really seem like, maybe he's in shock or something, but like,
I love it. It's three extremes, right? Andrew doesn't understand what the big deal is. He feels bad about it, but he doesn't do anything. Matt is freaking out at Andrew, stands on the shore the whole time, doesn't even get in the water. It's Steve who goes in and rescues this guy. And I was like, there we go. That's our trajectory.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So based on this, Matt develops rules. So 3 of them. No using our powers on living things. We'll break that one. No using our powers when we're angry. That's the rest of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
And don't use your powers in public or tell people about them. And we mostly adhere to the latter part of that third rule. We don't tell anybody until KC, and that's way too late.
Well, it's only after everyone can see the powers happening.
Yeah. When we start tossing people from tall stories of the hospital.
Yeah.
As the news cameras are rolling. Yeah. So, Yeah, these are decent rules, but it's also Matt trying to impose his will on other people. Even Steve doesn't seem fully sold on this. He kind of goes, yeah, okay, it makes sense. And Andrew doesn't understand why Matt might be angry at him the next day.
Right? It's like been less than 24 hours.
You hospitalized someone. Yeah. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, and I think, but again, the fact that Andrew is not feeling any kind of bit of remorse, I'm like, oh, okay, so you might be a bit of a sociopath.
Yeah, or you just don't understand the implications of your actions. Like, to him, this is all still fun and games. I don't think at this point he is a bad guy. I just don't think he understands the gravity of what they're doing.
Well, I guess, like, so for the climax of the film, do you think he understands what he's doing? Or do you think he's in like a Jean Grey, like Dark Phoenix fugue state where he's like, oh, I'm just so angry and like the power is taking control?
I think so. I think he gets consumed. He gets devoured by rage in, honestly, the way you were talking about Trank after he makes this movie where he says, I was just lost and I was just lashing out and I was doing things that were shitty. It's like, oh, dude, you didn't learn anything from your own movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I do think one of the smartest scripting decisions that this film makes, because it would have been really easy to have said, oh, this is where the darkness starts. Andrew starts to resent them. He goes off on his own and he becomes the villain of this story. But it's not that, Trace. Instead, we discover that there's a new level unlocked to our powers because we meet Steve in this abandoned sawmill and we get to go flying.
I mean, like every child's dream. Like how many of y'all, I definitely did this, who would try to jump up in the air in your backyard to see if you could fly?
100%. All of us.
Like, even as a 36-year-old man, I'm looking at this like, man, I'm jealous.
Yeah. And even if this is the part where I think the harness work is the most obvious, you know, when we see Steve sort of levitating in the air, you're like, yeah, we just digitally erased the little harness that's keeping Michael B. Jordan up there in the air. But there's something so exciting when we watch. It's like a sequence from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It's just like that fucking like floating room. I actually think, though, that the way it's shot, like there is a sense of weightlessness that feels authentic to me.
Yeah, like watching Andrew concentrate and start to lift his feet up, and then he's unsteady, you know, he's kind of waving his arms to keep himself vertical. And I love that he ends up having to grab onto Steve because, of course, Matt, useless. Matt is always the last one to figure out how to use their powers, and he's always the worst at it. But I love that it's the two people who have the greatest connection so far in the film, where Andrew ends up having to rely on Steve. And of course, what we get is this teen boy no homo comment from Matt where he says, oh, you two look so cute.
Aww.
As they're hanging on to each other.
Feeding into your queer reading, of course.
Yeah. Okay, so we play some football up in the clouds, and this is where Steve is nearly killed. He's knocked out, and we end up having to rescue him before he plummets to the ground unconscious. But
Andrew saves him.
It is Andrew who saves him, and he manages to save the camera. So clearly Andrew is still the best at exercising their powers.
Well, and that's the thing is, I guess, he's the best, then it's Steve, and then Matt is kind of there.
Yes. Yeah. Matt is also powerful. Yeah. Okay. So we're hanging out at Steve's place. You know, these are teenage boys who are apparently doing a sleepover, and that's fine. That's fine. But this is where we start to talk about sex as well. So we learn that Steve is having regular sex with his girlfriend. We learn that Matt hasn't had sex in quite some time. And then we learn, shocking no one, that Andrew is still a virgin.
And again, this could have gone away where it's they're making fun of him. And that's not what I get from this scene. It's more like oh my God, like what? And I do.
We gotta hook you up.
I love that their process is, oh yeah, let's make this happen for you, dude.
Yeah. Okay, so before we do that, though, Matt has to continue proving that he's actually the shitty villain of this film because he mocks Andrew's desire to visit the monks in Tibet. And of course, this is where the movie will end. But I love for where the Andrew character is going to go. I think for some people, it's really easy to read Dane DeHaan's performance as kind of one note because he's just really sullen and really angry. But this scene, to me, is really powerful in unlocking. It's not just the abuse. It's not just the isolation. He actually has this contemplative, meditative side to him. Like, he would really value going to Tibet and just being in the quiet, because he doesn't ever get that, right? Like, home is not a refuge for Andrew.
Right.
So I like this scene. I think you could probably cut it out, except for the fact that it anticipates the end. But I like it as a character moment.
I do too. But you're right. I think as Andrew is written, I think he's written more one note, but DeHaan's performance really does bring out the layers of it.
Yeah. How do you feel about him as an actor? I've seen him in a couple of things, and I don't gravitate to him, but I find that whenever he shows up, whatever the role is written, he does a really good job in it. Not to say I always like his characters. In fact, I feel like he often plays not good characters, but...
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, like, the movies that come to mind when I think of Dane DeHaan besides Chronicle, so it's that Amazing Spider-Man 2 where he's the Green Goblin.
Yeah. He's okay.
I've definitely seen Kill Your Darlings, the one where he has sex with Daniel Radcliffe, and
I sought it out specifically because I was like, yes, I would like to see the two of them have sex, and I remember finding it a bit dull.
Yeah, it is a little bit dull. The sex scene is good.
Okay.
A Cure for Wellness, I didn't really like.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's 2.5 hours long.
That's why I've never seen it.
Yeah, Oppenheimer, he's in that with like every other white actor in Hollywood.
White Facial Blindness, the movie. Thank you, Christopher Nolan.
Okay, so two things. One, I've never seen The Place Beyond the Pines, but I've heard it's really good. That's the one with Ryan Gosling and Eva Mendes. It's directed by... Oh
my God, he's in that?
Yeah, so he's the other lead. It's him.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, I've forgotten all of that then, apparently, because, I've seen that movie and I don't remember him in it at all.
Yeah, he's one of the two troubled teenagers. I think he is the son of Bradley Cooper, I think. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
So there's that, but then I don't like this movie, but I think it's a good, interesting, like, different turn for him, and it's the horror comedy Life After Beth, where he's dating Aubrey Plaza, she dies and becomes a zombie. Yeah. The movies, I don't think is very good, but if you want to see him play a different type of character, that's the one to watch.
Yeah, maybe that is it, because it could just be that this is the film I first saw him in, and then it feels like he's playing variations of it in many of his other films. Like, he always just seems a little sad, a little bit mopey, a little bit angry, and a little bit wet.
I was going to say greasy, but yes, that makes sense.
He constantly gets caught in the rain or something in his movies.
I just think his hair always looks greasy.
It is that too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Thank you for going on this road with me.
Of course. Why not?
All right. So basically, Matt lies so that he can go and try to impress Casey, and he totally bombs when he shows up at her door, but she sort of forgives him because obviously these two are headed for Smoochieville.
Yeah, because they had a thing like in middle school, but then he became, like, when he got popular, he became less interesting to her.
Which is interesting because, folks, if you haven't seen the film, this girl is smoking fucking hot.
Okay, she is playing the role that would probably normally go to like a brunette.
Lily Sobieski.
Yes, and she's this hot blonde.
Like, she looks like she should be playing the head cheerleader, and instead she's super interested in foreign politics for her blog.
She is basically the captain of the yearbook committee.
There we go. Yeah. So he's trying to impress her by coming off as smart, and this scene is more or less her assuring him, you don't have to try so hard. Like, it's fine. We're going to hook up later. So, Matt is over here clearly not telling Andrew or Steve about these plans. They have decided that they're going to go into town. So they Spider-Man it up by sitting on the ledge of a tall building in downtown Seattle. We can definitely see the Space Needle in the distance. We mention it as a tourist trap, so clearly we will go there. I actually think this movie does a really good job of laying out things and then paying it off later.
Oh, yeah.
Like, not in a super Chekhov-y kind of way, but it is, don't worry, we'll circle back to that later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But this is just another really great scene where they revisit the conversation about their parents. You know, Steve opens up more about suspicions of his mother's infidelity, and you can see, like, they are forming a genuine friendship.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it will play through because again, we get this like, oh, well, you should do the talent show.
Yeah.
And I think when I first saw this, I was like, oh God, like
it's gonna go bad.
Yeah, what's gonna?
This is the prom.
Yes,
only it's a talent show.
100%. But I think that's what makes the Steve character so good. Is it's like, oh no, he genuinely wants to help him become popular, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is also part of the let's help him to lose his virginity, because if we can make him seem less like a weirdo, a girl might actually pay attention to him.
Right.
So yeah, the next bits of the film are about them getting him ready. So we borrow clothes from Steve, and all of a sudden Dane DeHaan looks like an actual human being, and he looks good. And Dad beats the shit out of him, or tries to, because we have bought this expensive new camera, and Dad doesn't appreciate it, even though, well, Andrew doesn't quite manage to get it out in a way that lands, but he does say, I didn't use your money for this. And the dad's like, I don't have any money. You're like, yeah, we know. So anyway, we get to see Andrew's amazing magic trick go down at the talent show as Matt and Casey watch, and it's pretty fucking good. Like, if you saw this at a high school talent show, you would think this kid has studied magic.
You would be like, this is not real. Like, this, the only way you could be doing this shit is with magic powers.
What are you talking about? I see Dave Franco and Isla Fisher and Woody Harrelson do this all the time in those Now You See It movies.
Are they actual magicians in those movies?
I think they're supposed to be.
I've never seen a single one of them, so I don't know.
Oh, they're fun. You might actually like it.
I'm sure I would. Are they using actual magic, or is it like, real magic where it's like sleight of hand and shit?
It's supposed to be sleight of hand, but it's so obviously movie magic because the feats are impossible, which is absolutely we're seeing on this stage, right? Like, you can't do 52 card pickup. You just can't pick them back up unless you get down on your hands and knees and do it manually. I
was like, I guess you have a super magnet at all those cards and on your hand, but sure, why not? But either way, it's a really good performance. Like, this would win the talent show.
100%. And it's a huge surprise because I love how much he actually plays up to it. He and Steve have this whole performance and it's like, oh no, I'm really terrible at that. Haha, suckers, I'm really fucking good at it. Bam, 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 bam. It's satisfying to watch, and it feels like this much deserved win that we know the Andrew character needs. And the question is just, is everything going to fall down around him immediately, or is he going to actually get one great win? And the answer is 50-50. So he manages to nail this talent performance, but then when we go to the after party, this is where the Juliette Lewis lookalike Monica, who is played by Anna Wood, she takes him upstairs and things should be good, but once again, I direct you to teenage boys' premature ejaculation.
He vomited on her.
Did he vomit?
He vomited on her. That's why she was so grossed out.
Okay. I misread this because he has it on his shoulder, and I was like, oh, he's got so much pent-up splooge.
That it just, like, shot all over him. No, unfortunately, I think if we were, like, showing splooge, that would automatically make this movie an R rating.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, no, now that I'm hearing it aloud, your reading definitely makes more sense.
I will say, though, your reading is more realistic.
Yeah, because, like, she's trying to give him head, and admittedly, like, yeah, sometimes you can confuse sensations and be like, so much pleasure. Oh God, I'm vomiting. But I think I just wanted him to have this because it does feel very teen boy, but also because
I mean, I just want him to have a win because I don't want him to. I don't want the end of this movie to happen.
Wow. Here's the thing, though. Did you ever think it was going to go any other way?
No, God, no, not at all. Not at all. I mean, because the whole tone of the movie is a bit dark like that.
It is, yeah. I always anticipated that he was going to kill his father, and it was then just a question of would it end there or would he continue escalating? And I mean, the fact that he doesn't kill his father is something of a surprise.
Actually, does he kill anyone?
I mean, you have to assume that a lot of those cops and maybe some of the other people... Because we're just causing so much property damage. As We Hate Movies is fond of saying, it's like 79 11s at the end of this movie.
It really is. And honestly, that's where a lot of the Cloverfield stuff comes in for me, too.
There's that, too. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so needless to say, Andrew is incredibly embarrassed. He will now be publicly shamed all over again, so this will just continue to haunt him. And Steve is there. He's trying to reassure him it's not that big a deal. But of course, we're also videotaping this. Andrew gets really pissed off and he yells at him. But this is when we move into, okay, we're going to start breaking those rules of Matt's. So we've got a spider on the floor and we're just going to explode it.
Yeah, I mean, he levitates the spider and then like stretches it out. That's the thing for me, actually. Like when he stretches the legs out, like you can see the spider like resisting.
Oh, it's upsetting.
And and then he just detaches all 8 of its legs, and that's it.
Yeah. It looks like what happens to people in space movies where they, kind of float out into space and then they just go, pah.
Yep, that's exactly it.
Yeah. Okay, so we have committed our first murder, and maybe we've got a taste for it. So his dad does confront him about this pricey new camera. This is where we get a bit of a fight scene, and I was surprised that it takes Andrew as long as it does to start using his powers against his father. But we should note that this is really where we start to hear that high-pitched frequency sound that indicates that basically Andrew has gone bye-bye and his rage has taken over.
Yeah, I actually am surprised too that he doesn't accidentally, blow his dad's head up when they're in the fight. The fact that we never, again, that's just the boys that I'm thinking of, but it's like the fact that we don't have like an accidental, like, oh my god, my powers were too strong for me, I couldn't control them, and I killed this person. Like, I'm surprised we don't have that.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's not using his powers intentionally. He ends up pushing his dad and he pushes his dad.
Yeah.
And it looks like maybe the dad has either broken an arm or just like he's landed on it badly. But this essentially, I mean, I think I've mentioned before that I had an incident where I stood up to my father and I pushed him against a door as a teenager. And all of a sudden I realized I was stronger than him. And it was a huge wake-up call for me, and not in a good way. It was like, I need to control my anger because I can hurt people, and this is still my father. Obviously, he was not dating me, so we didn't have the same relationship as Andrew and his father, but It was like, you need to be more careful because when you get angry, you can't control yourself.
Yeah, and there's a good moment too, like after he throws his dad here, where he brings he moves the camera closer to him and levitates it over him, and it's like, because I think it's one of those cameras, where you can flip the side of it out so you can like see what you're filming. And
yes, yeah.
I think he's watching himself on the camera when he does this.
Yeah, like, do I even recognize myself? Is that who I am? Is that what I look like?
And see, I'm wondering if it's more like a, wow, I look fucking powerful.
It could be that too. Yeah. Because, I mean, truthfully, from this point on, we'll only see one moment of true humanity from Andrew. And it's basically the moment right before he kills Steve up in the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Which is more or less where we're at. Yeah, okay, so we cut to Matt, and he gets a sudden nosebleed while he's hanging out with Casey, and this is when we then see Steve tracking Andrew down, and the storm clouds are gathering. Steve is desperate to track Andrew down because he also got a nosebleed, but he says he heard Andrew in his head, which is the only time we will refer to this, and we will never experience it ourselves. So it's just a character dialogue piece.
I am a little surprised we don't do, telepathy. We gotta go look that up in the Google book, I guess.
Well, that's why we don't do it, because Steve dies here, and of course Matt would never look anything up.
Absolutely. But in this death, granted, I clocked this. We're 54 minutes into this 83-minute movie. So there's like 25 minutes left when you take the credits out.
So technically, this is the end of Act 2. Like, Steve has made it a reasonably long time, and this will definitely be the thing that kicks us over into the climax. But it just feels so early.
It does. It feels like we're not even at the halfway point of the movie.
No.
Which I guess that's the hazard of having an 83-minute movie. This is shorter than your average film.
It's true. Yeah. And the movie always feels like it is clocking along. We had this conversation before we hit record, where this is actually a difficult movie to take notes for because it feels like there's so much jammed into it. Like, I felt like I was constantly pausing so that I could say, oh, and then this quickie little 10-second scene.
Well, and it's a pro and a con to found footage because you can cram. Well, cram has a negative connotation. You can fit so much storytelling in just like montages, basically, in found footage. Is true. Yeah. But I think that bad directors and bad writers, they don't use it right, and it does feel like it's crammed in, or it doesn't feel complete in some way. But this film luckily doesn't fall prey to those traps.
honestly, it feels like we're on a runaway train and it just keeps picking up speed. And it's like, oh, nothing is going to prevent us from getting to this. So everybody just buckle up because you know something bad is happening. And it's just a question of what is going to happen exactly, to whom, and how bad is the fallout going to be. And here, the fallout is Steve's fucking body after he gets hit by lightning.
God, and Andrew tries to hide the fact, because Andrew did not kill him. Like, lightning killed him, but I mean, I could see why someone would say it's Andrew's fault because he wouldn't come down.
The only reason Steve was up there is because he came to get his friend. And I love that the whole thing is that Steve keeps saying, it's not safe up here. Please come down with me. And Andrew, at this point, he's so lost in himself. He refuses to see Steve as a friend. He believes that he's only doing this, just like Matt, because they got these powers together. And Steve keeps saying, no, we're friends. We're friends. And Andrew won't accept it. And here's the thing. Did Andrew accidentally strike him with lightning?
I don't think so.
I do.
Really?
Yeah, I think he inadvertently summons it.
I mean, but they're in a lightning storm.
Oh, sure. Like, it was dangerous regardless. But the fact that he gets so angry and then it's like, bam. It happens at the height of when he's most upset.
So let me put it this way. I wouldn't turn down that read of the scene, but because I know Steve's original death was he was accidentally killed by a plane,
right?
I think the intent is this is an accident, but I wouldn't shut down your read completely, I guess is what I'm saying.
I guess part of the reason that I do believe this is because it increases the guilt factor. Like, this is why Andrew is driven over the edge, is because it's not just an accident. It's, I killed the only friend I actually have.
Yeah, so the accident that we have in the film with my reading is, it's the new I Know What You Did Last Summer. But if it was, he accidentally killed him, then it's the old I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Yes, the one with actual stakes.
Yeah, the one where they actually did murder somebody. I'm sorry, but they could have murdered somebody.
Yeah. They killed a boot.
They weren't just standing in the middle of the road waiting for cars to drive by.
Oh my God. Oh no. We caused an accident that all of us could have just immediately reported and moved on with our lives. Yes. Fuck. That movie has aged like sour milk in my memory.
My husband's rewatched it twice since we watched it in theaters, and he said he's had more fun with it each time. But I think that is the caveat of, like, you can't take this as a serious movie. You just have to watch it as a funny, like, fan fiction thing.
Right. Pretty people doing very stupid things.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we go from this split-second lightning strike immediately to, oh, wow, everyone's in dress shoes and dark clothes. We're at a fucking funeral because Steve is dead. Love the transition.
I do too.
No pomp and circumstance. Just, nope, he's dead. He's dead now.
And that's also something I get, like, some people are annoyed by that in time footage. It's like, oh, but we're just, like, clipping from scene to scene to scene, like time jumps, whatever. I kind of like how it, like, cuts out all the fat that you would normally get in a movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think we could speculate that there would be a lot of Andrew berating himself and feeling like absolute garbage shit and then pushing it down, and then showing up at this funeral and trying to pretend like, yeah, whatever, things are fine. I'm dead inside now, I guess.
Yeah, well, that he is.
That he is, and Matt notices it because, hey, everybody, Matt is still a character in this film. He demands to know what happened. Why would Steve have been hit by lightning? Why would he be in the middle of an open field during a thunderstorm? So he's not buying it, and Andrew doesn't feel like talking, so he just flies away. We should note, this is in the middle of the day, so Andrew's definitely breaking that third rule. Okay, so he does confess to Steve on camera that he doesn't know what happened. So this is Andrew. He's been fully controlling the camera telekinetically this whole time, but this is very much like him delivering a kind of eulogy as if Steve is the camera. And he says this, I think, a great line of dialogue. It's exactly what you would expect, but I think it sings. He says, "This thing is just a part of me now." And you're like, oh. He's not talking about his powers. He's talking about the darkness.
The darkness inside of him.
Yeah. Like, he's already accepted that his humanity is gone and he won't be coming back. And I think it actually makes the last act of this film even more tragic because he doesn't think he has anything to live for. So all of his actions, it's just not Andrew anymore. Yeah. This is who he's accepted he is, and his life is just over. So he'll do whatever he wants.
Well, and it's like, he wouldn't have lost himself. Well, maybe it's the power, right? Like the power is intoxicating, and that's why he says at some point, it's like, or maybe Matt tells him, like, you don't feel bad for killing a fly, and I think there's something into that, or maybe he says that to Matt when he's trying to like defend his actions, and it's like
right when we're doing the apex predator shit. Whoa.
Right. Oh my god, I know, but it's a thing where it's like, oh wow, I'm above people, like because I'm more powerful, so the people are now flies. Their lives don't mean anything, and
exactly,
he wouldn't have gotten there if he didn't have this power.
Yeah. And here's the thing. As you were saying that, I realized, another comparison that we could make where if you want to see a shitty version of this, it's called The Covenant. And I say that as a person who enjoys watching The Covenant, but recognizes it's not a good movie. But that's about people who use their powers more and more. They become addicted to it.
Yeah.
They don't care about regular people, and they just want to use their powers against one another. And it's all very, very gay.
Yeah, it's also very, very boring.
Yeah, whereas here, it somehow manages to remain compelling even when we understand in these moments, Andrew's just going to start doing some really horrible shit. So like when he goes back to the school...
this was so cathartic though. Like how many of us wanted to do this to our bullies?
100%. This is, again, why I do think it's so easy to read Andrew as a queer figure. Like if you want to read that as traditional queer where he's an outsider, sure. If you want to read him as a queer-coded, as in gay teen or... under the umbrella, then yes, absolutely, because the way that he gets targeted by bullies, and this is why I actually thought that it was a premature ejaculation. I understand now that, Wayne is definitely making vomit motions, but I also was like, you would make fun of a queer kid trying to have a single heterosexual moment and just spooging all over the girl and being like, well, I guess I'm done with that now. I tried it. It's not for me. And you can tell that Wayne is just picking up on what makes Andrew different. What he doesn't understand, though, is that difference makes him super powerful. So, Trace, we just lasso a couple of teeth.
We don't just do that though. So we pull them out and then we cut to him in the bathroom looking at the teeth because some of the teeth he got the full root and the others he didn't. And he's talking about how, it's because I was in my mind grabbing the middle of the tooth and that's what made it break. I need to focus on the tip of the root. And I was like, that is...
Yeah.
Woo, boy.
It's like visualization actions, I guess. Yeah. So this is definitely going to make him dangerous because if he can picture it now, he's got the power to do it. So,
and he's talking more to the camera. So like the barrier between him and normal social people is like gone because he is just, the camera is now his friend.
Well, and because there isn't someone like Steve there anymore, right? So not only can he manipulate the camera so that he can speak directly to it and it takes the place of a friend, but he doesn't have an actual friend anymore.
Yeah.
So,
well, and so that's where I think too, though, I mean, like the next 20 minutes, the end of the movie, yes, it is because he has, his rage is taken over.
Yeah.
But I think we're forgetting the big component too is he's also grieving.
He is. Yeah. He's kind of out of his mind. Yeah. And I love that we don't need to have him breaking down and crying, right? He has that eulogy to Steve where he very clearly feels awful and it's apologetic. And then we will never see him display anything but rage. But you can tell that this is basically just a mask. He doesn't want to interact with anybody because even to confess something to Matt would be to open himself up to emotion.
Yeah.
Or at least emotion that isn't valuable to him, which is, I need to use all of this that I bottled up, and it needs to come out in the form of violence. Which is honestly the most teenage boy response ever.
Very much so.
Like, I was having difficulty not thinking of Columbine when I was watching this movie. Like, this and Elephant.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I know, it's dark fucking shit.
Right. Yeah, but this is the most like in-school violence we will get in this movie, at least.
Yeah, we don't spend a bunch of time here, and it's not like he decides he's going to weaponize his pain against all of these, like, we haven't spent enough time in the school to actually care about anybody. It's nice to see Wayne again so that we can deal with him and be like, fuck you, bully. But really, it is bigger fish to fry. It's more epic in scope than that. Okay, so yes, we get the apex predator. This was part of the trailer. I remember, I think even some of the set photos that they were circulating when they were doing publicity for the film was very much cross-legged Dane DeHaan crushing this car.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Just with his fist.
And I mean, it's not really a spoiler, I guess, because it's like, they're playing with cars the whole movie.
Yeah. But these are basically toys. Like, we've graduated from Lego to real vehicles to real buildings and so on. Like, we started with toys and we're moving into the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that night, Matt pays him a visit by flying in through his bedroom window. Again, a little gay. And
Peter Pan.
Yeah. And he tries to pull rank. He says, oh, I heard what you did at school. You're violating the rules. Don't make me punish you. He's effectively trying to pull rank and saying, like, I'm the law. Like, these are the rules we agreed to. And it's kind of hysterical because Andrew is just so much better than him. So he is not more powerful than Andrew, but capitalism is more powerful than Andrew Trace. So when we go to pick up mom's pills, we can't afford them, so we don dad's old firefighter gear and we go after the local drug dealers.
Yeah, and this is scored, well, I'm sorry, while he's putting on the firefighter gear, it is scored to David Bowie's Ziggy Stardust.
This is a pretty good montage, right? Like, we don't really know these guys. They're not characters, but we know that they've been shitty to him. So in some ways, it's junior versions of Wayne where it's fun to watch him toss them around. Though I will say, I always wince when we see him move that one guy's unconscious body and there's just a smear of blood.
Because he's like dragging him across the concrete.
Yeah. And you realize, oh, okay, he doesn't care because he's basically doing all of this so that he can rob them. And we see him count the money and it looks like maybe $30.
I was going to say it's like pennies.
It's bad. So we've already got the suit on. So why don't we just go rob the nearest gas station? And I will say this is also interesting because we'll start to shift into more surveillance footage and more, news cam footage and that kind of stuff. So we're starting to expand the scope of how we're telling our story visually.
I wonder if that was new for found footage at this time. It's not anymore because like now like, as long as it's a camera, like found footage movies will use the footage, but I don't remember if that was relatively novel at this time.
Yeah, I can't recall. I feel like somebody who knows found footage films is going to be very helpful in giving us a bit of an answer here. Yeah. But I mean, we haven't mentioned it, but there's been a number of times earlier in the film where we've seen the footage from Casey's camera to help cover off, how are we getting all the coverage? But,
well, that's the thing is the scene whenever Matt goes to her house, to do the charity thing, like I was like, oh, did we shift out of found footage to like regular footage? But no,
you realize, no, she's just also filming everything all the time.
And her camera, I would argue, is probably has the best quality footage.
Yeah, right. It's because she's a good girl. She's got a big house. Okay, this scene where he commits the robbery is wild because he walks in and just pushes this guy against the back of the counter. This guy eats shit.
Not enough,
unfortunately, no. But I mean, he's not trying to kill him or hurt him. He just wants the money. So we do the exact same trick that we did at the talent show, where instead of picking up cards, we're now picking up all the money directly into the bag. And he starts to walk away. But yeah, this clerk is still alive, still conscious. So we grab a gun. We try to pull it on him. And I mean, this also anticipates where we're going to go with all the police officers. But we just move that gun out of the way, and unfortunately we shoot one of the gas tanks and this whole place goes up in flames.
Unexpected too, because you're like, oh wow, is Andrew like out of commission now, or is he dead? But of course no, it's like immediately, he's just in the hospital, really bandaged the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, he's not okay, so now he's full of rage, he's grieving, and he's probably in a huge amount of pain. But I like that this basically takes him off the board for a couple of minutes in the world of the film. So, question for you. So we see his dad has appeared at his bedside, and he seems very upset, like he's crying. Did you think that this was him feeling bad and finally going to make an attempt to reconcile with his son?
I thought that until he starts telling him his mother's dead and it's his fault.
Oh my God. When he says it's your fault, if I hadn't been out looking for you, I would have been there. And I was just like, sir, you didn't have $700 for the med, so what the fuck were you gonna do? Roll her? That's it?
Also, you were just looking for him because he threw you against the wall and you were pissed off.
Yeah. It's just, I love that there is no rehabilitation. There's no saving this character in the film. So it's just like, no, dad, shitty.
Yeah, but I would have really liked to have seen the dad's expression the second that he was lifted up into the air flying with his son.
It's true. Yeah. Before we get that, though, we do have to get him basically shaking Andrew and being like, Marge, it's your fault. And we just see, I think we see the eyes open ever so briefly. And then we cut to surveillance cam footage in the room.
Yeah.
As the whole wall to the outside just bursts out. And this looks so good.
It looks, the cut is seamless. It's so quick. It's happened so quickly. Like, you don't even realize that you're changing the camera angle. But yeah. It's really, it's so unexpected. Really good because he's about to hit him and he grabs his hand when he wakes up.
Yeah, and then boom, wall goes out, and then we cut directly from this to Matt at some kind of birthday party for Casey's family or some shit.
Whatever.
It doesn't matter. And he just gets a torrential nosebleed because this was a big power usage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then it becomes a full Cloverfield. You know, oh my God, there's news footage. There was a bomb at the hospital, and Matt understands immediately what this means. So we get in the car. Casey insists on coming. We can't get into downtown. And you can tell that he's like, fuck, this bitch wasn't here. I could have just flown.
Well, why doesn't he just leave? I guess he cares about her. I was like, why doesn't he just leave her? Go fly off after him. But
well, and he's still trying to keep up appearances, right? Oh, I'm still adhering to our fucking code, so I can't just do this in public. So yeah, we have to pretend. And then we see, this is a great shot. Parts of this movie also remind me of that Will Smith Charlize film, Hancock.
Oh, okay. I did see that in theaters. I remember thinking it was pretty fun.
Okay, so I didn't watch it because I actually thought the marketing of this lazy, grumpy superhero, I was like, I'm not interested in seeing this. I don't need to see a Will Smith vehicle where he's just doing his like, oh, I'm grumpy, but you're going to love me by the end of this movie. And then I watched it years later because I taught a superhero course. And I was like, okay, I'm going to watch this because I got to do a bunch of research. And I was so surprised at how complex and different that film was than what it was advertised.
Also, it's directed by Peter Berg, who did very, very bad things and Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, so the action is actually really good. I would argue some of the effects in this movie are better because they are more lo-fi. But yeah, folks, if you want a surprise, if you don't know what happens in Hancock, it's worth checking out.
It's a movie where there is a tonal shift that happens in that movie, if I remember, about halfway through. And
you will either stay with it or it will lose you at that point.
It definitely gets dark. And that was throwing, because the marketing campaign was very like jovial, like, oh, like silly, like drunk superhero.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
I was not interested in that version. And when I heard, oh, it's actually darker than you realize, oh, suddenly my interest is piqued.
Yep.
So speaking of, yes, we're down at ground zero of the hospital explosion and news cameras are on the scene. The police have cordoned off the area and everybody's watching. And I love the oohs when we see, oh shit, there is a flying man dangling somebody who had just come out of that hole.
Yeah.
And then we double the oohs when all of a sudden we drop that man and Matt just flies up and catches him.
No hesitation. Like, Andrew's like, bye.
Yeah. It's pretty good. I like it. I like it as like, oh, this is a coming out scene for Matt. And then he just immediately pops back down. Like, I love that he doesn't try to bring Andrew's dad with them.
I know,
it's
right?
just like
he's tagging along.
Safely drop him off. And then now we need to get the fuck out of here because I just pissed off my cousin.
Well, and that's kind of what the rest of this movie is, right? I managed to quote it, but it's like, okay, city is getting destroyed. We're lifting the car up, putting on the Space Needle. The car falls off. Because of the found footage stuff, sometimes it can be hard to tell what's going on, I think, especially when we're inside the car.
I will say, though, I like that sequence where we lift up the car and we drive it at the Space Needle because it becomes POV found footage, even though it's clearly Casey's camera at this point. But yeah, that's when it starts to get a little confusing because she ends up essentially getting plucked out of the vehicle, and then Andrew's going to drop her and Matt has to save her, but it's like the car has fallen away by that point. But I really like that moment where it's almost like, oh, this is POV car footage.
Yeah.
It's neat stuff.
It all looks cool. It looks cool.
Yeah. Okay, so we get to watch news footage of this face-off between the cousins. So they're illuminated in spotlights from the police helicopters, and people are watching from the ground. And this is, like, I cannot imagine how scary and exciting this would be if you were just a regular person watching at home. Like, hey, people can fly, and they're fucking battling it out in downtown Seattle.
Well, because when he steals all the phones from the people in the Space Needle, doesn't that also entail breaking all the windows?
Yes, yeah, he shatters the windows, as these people are presumably just trying to have a nice dinner on that rotating restaurant that we saw in Drop.
It's about to turn into Final Destination Bloodlines.
Basically. Yeah. How many other Seattle Space Needle references can we make? I'm out.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, we basically steal all of their cell phones so that we can set up a 360-degree sort of, it's almost an immersive experience, isn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we just start going to town on each other. So we're beating the shit out of each other. We should note that Andrew derides Matt as weak, and then he immediately drives a bus into him.
Oh, that's a really good moment, though, too. It's not a jump scare, but it's a surprise.
Yeah. I'm not going to go through all of this. I wanted to highlight that I found it really amazing. Like, in my notes, I wrote, oh, and then they reenact scenes from Man of Steel. Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, it comes out the year after this.
It sure does. Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying Zack Snyder needs to pay residuals. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
Yeah. The other notable piece from all of this, like downtown carnage, we're just throwing each other into buildings and, you know, busting out windows and going up through the ground and that kind of shit. I really like the moment where Andrew essentially reenacts scenes from The Matrix and stops all of the bullets that the police have fired at him. And then he just hits them with this giant wave that flips over and pushes back all of these cruisers for like 100 feet.
Mm.
It's good.
I mean, a lot of carnage. A lot of, as you said, what is, oh my God, property damage.
7911s.
7911s, yes, that's it.
Yeah. Okay. So we get to a point where Matt has been knocked down. Andrew has been knocked down. They keep getting back up. And at a certain point, Matt just can't. And the police all have their guns drawn. It's not going to end. He starts to beg Andrew to stop. He just keeps going, Andrew, you need to stop. Andrew, listen to me. Stop. Andrew. And I guess the other comparison, like I made so many comparisons to different films in my notes. I was like, oh, this is Let the Right One In with all the bullying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bit of Dead Girl because it's these boys get powers and they just immediately abuse it and become terrible. And in this moment, the movie I was thinking the most of is Akira. We're basically pleading... Like, we're destroying the middle of downtown, and we're just hurling our psychic waves at each other, and it's like, Tetsuo!
No, honestly, I can't believe we just covered Akira.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we all know that you've forgotten because you don't even remember Batman.
Right, that is true. Yeah. What Batman? We haven't covered these
Bat what? Bat who?
Yeah. But basically, it's like, the whole time, Matt has been like, I don't want to kill you, but I will.
Yeah.
And I think for the audience, we're kind of like, well, he's not going to kill him. Surely not. Like, I don't know if the first time I saw this movie, if I thought that Andrew was actually going to get killed, because even though he is the de facto villain of the film.
Well, you think it's his cousin. He's going to incapacitate him somehow. Like, there's one point where it seems like he's unconscious and the police begin to move in, and then it's like, haha, no, I'm actually going to kill all of you, or I'm going to wipe you out. And you think, okay, only Matt can do this, right? Only he has the commensurate power that's going to be able to stop his cousin, even though he's never been as good. And it's not even that, right? It's just that Andrew is so locked into this black void. Mm-hmm. He just keeps getting more and more angry and screaming to the point where you're like, oh, that statue has that Very strategically placed.
We keep showing that spear and that statue.
I mean, they did fly and wipe out into it. That's how they ended up on the ground and the police were able to circle them. So it's like, we didn't just land here so that we could use that spear. But then when you see that Matt realizes, oh, only I can stop this and I might have to put him down, you're like, well, that spear is right there.
And he holds off as long as he can, but it isn't until Andrew is about to do like a hand motion to like, kill all the cops that Matt then goes, well, send that spear through your chest.
Yeah, and it's like a javelin. Like this thing goes right through him and it is a meaty thunk.
A javelin?
Yeah, like
no, a javelin.
Javelin. I will remember this moment, Trace, because there are so many words that you mispronounce regularly. So next time, it's coming for you, baby.
For me, it's not even a mispronunciation. It is I use words incorrectly and just do it with such confidence that it seems right.
to you, at least. And then we hear it play back in the edit, and it's like, oh, that's not right.
Yeah, hopefully no one notices.
I say this as if I don't get the character names wrong every other time. So anyway, yes, we javelin this kid right through the fucking chest. I like that it goes through with such force that it ends up implanting into the ground so that we continue to prop Andrew up.
Yeah, if this was an R-rated movie too, we'd be like Paris Hilton in House of Wax, where like we just slide him down the spear.
Yeah, see Andrew die.
Yeah. Yes. But Matt just pieces out and flies away.
I do like this. He basically phony balonies until the police start to look like they're going to arrest him. And then he just up and outs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so then we're basically into the coda. We get some flying footage, but of course, we all kind of know where this is going to end. I do like that he does not try to bring Casey with him. He does not send a message to Casey, as far as we know. So, girlfriends, if your boyfriend's got powers, they don't fucking care about you.
Yeah, we don't see Casey again after she gets saved.
No, although I have to believe that if you were dating somebody and you found out that they had all of these powers and they never told you, and you just had to find out when they rescued somebody publicly, I don't know. I don't know how forgiving I'd be. Maybe you're a superhero, but also you're a big fucking liar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the trust is broken. So anyway, we end up in Tibet, and obviously we have set up the camera so that... basically, so that Matt can do what Andrew did after Steve died. We're going to talk to the camera like it is the person that I love, and I never really got the chance to say it. But basically, Matt is finally ready to say on camera, I love you, I should have said it, I feel bad, but I'm going to leave this camera so that you can essentially meditate with the monks in Tibet, because that's where we are. And then...
Does someone need to tell him, hey, that's not Andrew?
Right? Like, that's a camera, and also it's going to freeze, and no one is going to be able to play that tape. But you know what? It was the thought that counts.
I will say, though, it looks like he's standing in front of a matte painting of Tibet.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's super unconvincing.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it looked cool if this was a movie made in the 40s or 50s.
Yeah. This is one of those things where you're like, well, the snow looks okay, so I guess that's a win. But
sure.
Yeah, I mean, did they have the budget to go anywhere? Did we probably just create this as a green screen on a computer? Yeah,
probably so.
Yeah. It's fine. It's sentimental. It's probably the right way to end this movie, but it just really reinforces, oh, right, we were supposed to be cheering for Matt the entire last act of this film. And I enjoyed watching the Pixels fight. And that's as much as I want to say about Matt.
Yeah, we're never going to get Chronicle 2, so
you don't think so, huh? You don't think we'll ever manage to get around to it? I guess it's just because the sequel announcement wasn't that long ago. I think it was near the tail end of the pandemic.
I mean, but again, well, you'd have to get a new script because we're not going to use Matt Landis anymore. Well, I guess at this point, though, would Trank have any swaying power? You know, as I said, he was trying to do everything he could to stop the production of Chronicle 2. So, A, would he try to do that again? And B, if so, would he even have any power to do that?
I mean, I think the question is, would he even be involved? Because I think if you want to make it happen, maybe that means he isn't.
That's the thing. All you got to do is do a quick Google search of Josh Trank Chronicle 2 to see what he thinks about that idea. Yeah. And then they're probably going to be like, let's just not involve him.
It's just, wow, like, money talks in Hollywood. I don't think that this is a quote-unquote valuable IP because, as we've mentioned a couple times, people seem to have forgotten the film. But there was money to be made from a sequel, and I think there maybe still is if you can come up with a decent enough idea. So give me an anniversary, and I think we could see something happen because you don't make $125 million on a $15 million budget and then just call it a day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody's going to try to find a way to make money. The fact that we never got a direct-to-video sequel is a shock to me.
Yeah. You know, if this had come out about 5 years earlier, I bet we would have.
Right. Yeah. It would have been cheap. It would have featured more girls, probably boobs, and it would have had uncut on the cover.
Oh my God, yes. Unrated and uncut.
There we go. Yes. And somebody gets their dick chopped off.
But yeah, I mean, I enjoy. I had not seen this since it came out, so I was happy to revisit it. And yeah, I mean, it holds up. This is a really strong, lean movie.
That's the thing. Yeah, you are in and out. I think the effects are good enough to entertain. I think, honestly, we've been making fun of Matt a lot, but it's the character writing, not the performance. It's mostly that when you watch it and you see how charismatic Michael B. Jordan is, that you realize, oh God, yeah, we really just needed to switch which character lives and which dies. But...
yeah, exactly. But I mean, again, it wouldn't have been as meaningful emotionally if Matt had died instead of Steve.
That is so true. So true. Yeah. But it was good. Thank you for allowing me to finally program this when we decided, oh yeah, that sequel is never going to happen. So let's just knock it off. That's what we've been trying to do this last quarter of the year, is movies that we have delayed covering for a variety of reasons. It's like, it's their time, baby.
Well, I was going to say, you don't have to thank me because next week is a me movie.
There we go. Okay, you set it up. Let's knock it out.
I know, everyone. So some quick housekeeping. Before we announce what we're covering next week, if you want to get in touch with us, you can reach us on Blue Sky and Instagram at HorrorQueers. Shoot us an email at horrorqueers@gmail.com. Find us on Letterboxd to keep track of all the films we've covered. If you want to chat with other listeners, please join our HorrorQueers Discord. That link is in the show notes. If you have a moment, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you want more content, please support the show by becoming a patron at patreon.com/horrorqueers. If you subscribe today, you'll get 440 hours of Patreon content, including this month's new episodes on Hannibal Season 2, episodes 11 through 13. So that is the end of Season 2, by the way.
Ooh, we've done it.
We have done it. Sequel, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, Paul Feig's The Housemaid, and another sequel, Wake Up Dead Man. So, to coincide with that third Benoit Blanc mystery, we've also got an audio commentary on the original Knives Out, and as a special holiday treat, I know there's more.
There's more, because it's December. We go overboard every fucking year.
It's holiday gifts, everyone. We are also dropping our audio commentary from this year's Soho Horror Fest on Scream 3.
Yeah, people have asked for it, so we're going to give it to you.
But Joe...
yeah.
What is this me pick next week?
It's such a you pick. I'm actually very excited because I haven't seen this movie in so long. So I'm actually very excited to revisit it as well. It is our final anniversary film for the year, Trace. It's the 30th anniversary of the original Jumanji.
The movie that I am 99% certain is the reason I like creature features so much.
Okay, I could see that. I'm curious to see how good or bad these animal effects are going to look. I don't remember feeling strongly about it, but I mean, it's a Robin Williams movie and it's gamification and it's animals. So yeah. I just think we're going to have fun. Oh, and also baby Kirsten Dunst. So
yes, I will tell you this. There are a lot more practical effects than I think you remember. A lot of the creatures are practical. It is the stampede that has a lot of CGI. And it doesn't look, I mean, it doesn't look great by today's standards, but I mean, for 1995, I think it looked fantastic.
Okay.
In a way, like, you know, when we talk about like Deep Rising, where it's like, oh, this never looked good. Like, Jumanji did look good at a certain point.
Okay. You know what? That's why we revisit things, because it's worth checking back in. But also, like, I don't know. It's weird, right? Because in some ways, Jumanji is all about the visual effects because, like, that's what sells the film.
Yeah.
But then I think, no, it's actually the jokes.
I mean, it's jokes, but man, we're covering this for a reason because I do believe this is a gateway horror film. We are putting
100%.
children in danger in this movie, and it is wild.
I also love the idea of games that come to life and threaten people's lives. I am a sucker for that subgenre.
Me as well. But we're not going to go any further. So until next week, we can cross out Chronicle.
Indeed, and cross out horror queers.
Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely, and parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Sign up for Greenlight today at greenlight.com/podcast.
This holiday season, the last place you want to be is the naughty list. Rowan Campbell plays a bloodthirsty Santa in Silent Night, Deadly Night. Director Mike P. Nelson's grisly update to the most controversial horror film ever made is only in theaters December 12th. Go to sndnmovie.com for updates. This Christmas, Santa's gonna slay.